let's say, not only interns could be moved. It was obviously me, because I was playing like the previous year.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Your bet, your game.
Here's a good vibe, here's a good vibe, here's a good vibe, good vibe.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans around the globe, welcome back to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. I'm back. I'm an idiot as per usual. And Lucas, nothing's on fire. Can you confirm that nothing is currently on fire?
I am confirming everything is on ice.
Everything is on ice, not on fire. Equally as bad, but we are rocking and rolling here this evening. And a quick shout out to our sponsors, BitSkins. Buy and sell some CSGO skins and items. You can check them out. You've got M1 Bet. Remember to gamble responsibly. And our newest sponsor, which is SteelSeries, which I got the headset. I collected it from the
Good job. Good job, Chad.
Picked it up. You can take these little panels here off the side, and
but you're using the cable?
I can't hear you guys and this one here is where you charge it with the USB, and then if you take off the other side, this side here is where you put the battery in, right? And you put the battery in here, and you just pop it out, and you have a spare rechargeable battery that comes in this thing right here. It comes in this little bad boy, and it's just charging the whole time and sits in the end here. So you're never going to run out of battery.
Honestly, on the table. And I guess plus of the headset, everything. Negative, if you take it off your head like Chad just did, you can't hear. So that's maybe you can work on that technology somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, make it so you can hear no matter what.
Yes.
That's the key right there. That's we want to be able to hear at all times. So actually, we're looking for an implant SteelSeries. If you could implant the headset into our brain, that's ideal.
I want to hear the voices all the time. I only hear them sometimes now. So that's kind of iffy there.
That's what we're looking for. But obviously, we got Prof here, and we got STYKO with a big grin on his face. STYKO, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
And of course, our guest for this evening, and you can see him, you can love him, and it's nafany from Cloud9. nafany, welcome back on the show, mate.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Should be a good evening this evening. We have a lot of bits and bobs to touch on, mate. Where are you at the moment? It looks like there's other, I can see slippers in the background. Are you in like a prac room? Is this a boot camp space? What's going on there?
Boot camp.
Okay.
We're in Serbia, Belgrade.
Okay, getting ready for Pro League finals, and then obviously the RMRs and the major coming up.
Yep, and for Blast Showdown.
Yeah, you guys qualified for that recently, huh? You had to play the qualifier for the Blast Showdown qualifier, if I am correct.
Yeah, it's okay. We have this experience already, so it wasn't so hard, but it was a bit tough, let's say.
How was it returning to the online realms now that you're a certified LANer?
It was pretty strange, actually. I mean, we did not experience it for a long time, and it's pretty strange when you can play. And for example, say, Ivan, can you please close the window? It's too cold for us. And it's pretty strange for us, actually. I mean, yeah. But it's cool. It's cool. I like it.
Okay. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the hot seat and let's get tonight's show underway, shall we, Lucas? Roll the bumper. All right, let's get stuck into this. We've got lots of questions this evening, and Prof, he has even told me there's some good ones. So, Prof, when a moment arises to ask these good questions that the people at home have been asking for nafany, let's just litter them in here. Let's just sprinkle them across this little hot seat section, shall we? That's a mouthful. Do you have like a best question sticking out there, Prof? Is there one that you're munching to ask for?
There was a nice question from STYKO on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
Oh, that was an opener there.
Mostly,
yeah.
I see it most likely.
Do you want to start with that one? That's a nice place to start, isn't it?
We can start with there because like kind of we can lead from there into anything. So essentially, it was a tweet from STYKO about.
I'll get it for Lucas. 1 second. You keep going.
Yeah, about practice and specifically practicing against you guys, and he said you're the best team to practice against. He did give props to like in general the practice environment being better than it was a couple of years back, but like Cloud9, every round matters. There's no like tilt rounds and like giving up on prac halfway through. So, and even Existence like chimed in.
Yes,
and
it was completely unexpected.
It was pretty surprising.
And he's like, oh, you can only see this in the games that they play and stuff like that. So, what are your first reaction when you saw this these comments?
Of course, it's pretty nice to hear it, because it's really important to see that other teams and players can say so good things about us. And yeah, we just trying to do our best at practice and do what our coach want to see from us, and that's it.
How do you keep everybody in check, mate? If people step out of line and start doing dumb stuff, do you whack them with a rolled up newspaper? Do you fine them? Do you yell at them? Do you say, "Come on, mate"? Like, how do you stop them from doing dumb shit in practice?
I mean, we're just trying to play versus good teams who really care about their preparation, and that's it. I mean, I knew a few teams which I don't really like to play versus them, and it's even tier 1 teams, because it seems like they don't really want to prac well.
Name them, nafany.
I will not.
Shame them.
No. Because it will be
drama.
I don't really like drama, so that's it.
All right. Is this the same mentality you guys had when you were on the come up in the Gambit Academy? The same regime, the same routine that's been in place the entire time, or you become a little bit changed in more recent times?
It's changed because we're now different people, I will say, because like when we was 18 and 19, we don't really care about what's going on around us. We was just playing the game and that's it. You wake up and just sitting and playing game. You can even not eat at all. You just play CSGO and that's it. No matter what, we're playing as much as we can, and it was our mentality. But for now, we're just trying to figure out everything what's going on around us, because a lot of going on around us. So we just can't forgot about that and play like we played before. So we don't have such many time as we had before, and that's it. We're just trying to do best of we can do.
You guys doing anything different, or is it just the standard play to 30 rounds in practice? Are they like you guys doing anything fun outside of that? I remember back in the day we used to do like best of 3 pistols. I remember doing that against Flipside with Bondic and stuff. You guys do any of that fun stuff?
Sometimes it's happening because, for example, when you don't have a lot of time, because like let's say we need to finish a bit earlier, we could just say to enemy, let's play 16k. Let's say it happens sometimes.
Okay,
and it's fine. I mean, every team, especially Brazilian team, I will say, it's really cool to play versus them because they understand every situation. If you fucked up with something, they will say, "Don't worry, we will do our best," and that's it.
Okay, all right.
Nice. I think just to add on to that, like, how does the average practice day look for you guys? Because I know outsiders, for example, have been like notorious, let's say, to have like super long practice days, like 8, 10, 12 hours, depending on what tournament is coming up. Like, how much do you play? How many games do you play? How long is it?
I think I can't say it
Okay.
because every team have their secrets, let's say. And if we talk about preparation, all what I can say that we trying to do our best, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
But surely,
that
surely
you-
it must have changed from
but-
like the times when you were in
Yeah.
Gambit Youngsters, though, because at that time you had a million like official matches as well. So I'm sure that even like having time for practice matches sometimes must have been difficult. So how do you balance that? Like, is it harder to balance now, knowing like how much practice you need, how much theory you need, considering you probably have a lot more time to actually prepare for tournaments and matches and stuff like that, because there's not that like online grind that you guys had like 2 years ago.
I think when it was online, the work for a coach was a bit harder because they was speaking while game sometimes, and so they can do more impact than now. So for me, as a captain, it was easier because, for example, I can focus on my individual play and don't really like, let's say, I must watch not one demo on one map, or I can just watch their T side and that's it. I don't really care about the city side, or maybe even not watch at all if we play versus like a low tier team. But for now, it's different because every captain must watch a lot of demos of their opponent, and it's obviously the main difference, I will say, because you can't like play, let's say, 8 pracs plus deathmatch plus demos, because it's like impossible for you. You will be tilted in like 1 week. So it's the main difference. But again, I must be thankful for my coaches, because they really help me with our preparation. They make the giant work, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive back into a little bit more of a timeline here, shall we? Because we want to dive in and discuss a lot of what happened in 2022, and obviously leading into the changes that happened in 2023. I got a little bit of a recap here, so I'll just read out I'll read out all of these, and then we'll pick and choose a good spot where we want to start talking about the year for Cloud9. Now, you guys were still Gambit for the quarterfinals of Katowice back in 2022, where you guys lost to FaZe. Then you went to EPL as players. Right? You guys were players. That was your name, with that baseball-esque looking logo. And you lost to FaZe again in playoffs round 1. Then you went to the PGO RMR for Group B and you qualified there as players, but then you got signed to C9. We see you go to the PGO Major, and then that's the Imperial loss, right? That was
pretty tough. It was pretty tough for us.
That one right there, that one, I think everybody watching that game was in utter disbelief. I don't know how it was in the server during that match, mate. Could you believe it was happening?
I could believe, because at that time it was a big roller coaster for us, because our emotions, our feelings was pretty strange, let's say, because everywhere where you look was a lot of shit about us, and it was pretty tough if we talk about mentality. So I guess that's the main reason why we'll lose ourselves at this tournament, I will say. And that's it. I mean, it was pretty tough for us, because when you recognize what happened after this match, it was like, whoa, we are playing like a shit. It's not a good timing, let's say.
I still remember that Mirage game and just like thinking
it was
like
63 or something.
Yeah, like super one-sided, yeah. And I just remember thinking like you just crumbled mentally completely. Like that's like you just were super afraid to take duels. You were just like losing duels that you shouldn't be losing. Just like kept like giving them so much space and all that stuff.
Sorry. I will just say that I still remember that Fier just tracked us, and it was no chance for us. He was so fucking good.
And he was in his good form.
One of the best forms ever, I will say. I think when he was winning the major, he was in same form, I will say. It was pretty hard to play versus him.
Did like the factor of Fallen, Fur, and these, like when they're starting to make the comeback, when you're on the back foot, did you did the factor that they were major champions have this all
I
of this
don't think
legacy
so.
play anything? No.
I don't think that our team is watching on nicknames or something like that while we're playing. So it don't really matter for us, I will say.
Yeah. So they earned it in game essentially in that match.
Yeah, I will say that in that tournament we was not in our, let's say, even worst shape, because it was like really tough for us. A lot of everything happened in this time.
But there was a lot of noise at that time, right? There was the situation with Hobbit, and then we had the nuke scenario as well with FaZe, right?
Let's say it was good experience for us. I mean, it was interesting decision for us, and we obviously review them, so we have some expectations from this map right now. And let's say if Liquid or outsiders would like to play this map, we'll already have some experience on it.
What was the conversation like once Nuke had come through? What could anybody say at that point?
Match prep like that. Who was like, I'm playing ramp and
no. Actually, in first generation of Gambit youngsters, we must play nuke instead of train. But we fucked up Weta at ESE, and our coach Finn was saying, "Okay, guys, seems like we will play train instead of nuke," and we was like, "Okay, let's play it," and that's it. That's the whole story. So we a bit knew how to play this map. We even prac it. Even with Hobbit, we prac it a bit because we can imagine scenarios when we playing versus outsiders or Liquid Nuke. So we are ready to play it if they will pick it. So
okay, in case it gets left through in a video or something. That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's say we never ban nuke versus such teams because we have a balls. Let's say.
What was it meant to be though? So I know it was a long time ago now, but I'm just recapping this. So FaZe banned Vertigo Mirage. You guys banned Inferno, Dust 2, and Overpass. I assume you were meaning to ban Inferno, Dust 2, and Nuke and leave Ancient and Overpass. No.
We just wanted to play nuke.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
That's it. But okay, if we will be fair, it was obviously a mistake, but still, it was a good game by us. We actually at this tournament, FaZe won the major, right?
Yes.
And the teams which played after us at Nuke versus FaZe take less round than we are. So take in mind.
Okay.
Cloud9 could play Nuke.
I see.
Don't forget about it.
Or at least they could play it better than other teams.
That's some classic Counter-Strike maths right there. I love it. Okay. So the loss to Imperial happens, the whole nuke situation, then you get PGO Antwerp out the way. That's done. You go to Dallas, and then you win Dallas, and you beat FaZe in the quarterfinals. So a team that's beaten you 3 times in a row at the last 3 events to start the year, you beat them, and then you go on to win Dallas. It was over ENTz, right, in the final when they had Snack standing in, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, true.
So you've gone from the low of losing to Imperial to the high of winning. Your second event is Cloud9 in America. What was that like, having Americans cheering for you playing in Dallas?
It was first and last time when public was cheering for us, so it was pretty nice. And let's be honest, it was one of few tournaments in 2022 which was not a disaster if we talk about my individual level, let's say. At least first half, because if you will look at statistic at HLTV.org, I was fucked up in 2022, at least first half, let's say. And it's a main thing, I will say, why we was losing, in my opinion, because I'm always was saying that, but even if you're good in game leader, you must at least make some frags, let's say. Even if we talk about G2, just look how they played when HooXi was not killing anyone, and now he's not top fragging, but he making his work, and they are pretty good because teams can't abuse him, and that's it.
Okay, so Dallas, you're saying, wasn't a disaster for you. Why was Dallas a good event for you? Have you been able to identify why Dallas was better than some of the other ones?
I think we just was angry. on ourselves, let's say, because we, let's say, like this. We're really thankful for Cloud9 because they sign us, they believe in us, and that's why, for example, why Jack left the trophy, because really thankful for Cloud9, and we was like, okay, they believe in us and we fucked up. We must
repay them.
yeah, we must make them proud about us, let's say. And we was really angry about ourselves, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know Prof and STYKO are massive fans of Jack lifting the trophy. These two can't stop talking about it,
I actually didn't
mate.
mind it so much. I know Prof
it was
a big...
mostly me.
Every second episode, Prof banging on about it. He's like, I couldn't believe that Jack fucking lifted the trophy.
But we must understand the whole situation, what happened, why he lifted the trophy. It's not about like the CEO lifting the trophy. It's more about the men who believe in us, who we was in pretty curious situation, let's say, before they sign us. So it must be like this, because it's how it works in my world, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fair in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny because now they are playing like the IEM Dallas hype video at EPL. If you noticed, there's no like trophy lifting moment in that highlight, because there's some 40-year-old guy lifting the trophy and it doesn't really make any sense. Like, why would this guy be lifting a trophy in a hype video? So it's just like one shot of you guys sitting there. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
You're very perceptive, Prof. You're paying attention to all the clips on the trailer for Dallas, aren't you?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't notice.
It's the glasses.
I didn't notice.
The only one sad thing about Dallas is they didn't invite us. It's a bit sad. Yeah, we must play closed qualifiers.
That's interesting. I wonder. Well, I guess because it's a year apart, you could make an argument that like defending champs return to play the event. But
I think it's fair because we're a bit not in the best shape, let's say. But it's fair, but still, it's a bit sad.
The EG were invited, mate.
No comments.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Dallas happens. You lift the trophy. You win it on what is kind of the weirdest quote unquote Cloud9 home soil. It was bizarre. It felt like we were living in a different universe when that happened. That must have felt pretty good. We then go on to Cologne. You have a 9th to 12th finish. You go to EPL.
Wait.
Yeah.
About Cologne. I will just say the 3 numbers: 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. It's all about Cologne 2022.
Okay.
You can understand it like you want, but if you will open HLTV.org Cologne 2022 and look at our last game, you will understand me. 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. That's all about this tournament.
1, 2, and 3. All right, hold up. I'm bringing it up here.
I'm looking at the Liquid
it was
loss.
against Liquid.
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, let's say, but it's easy one. Easiest one, I will say.
Something to do with the veto. I don't know.
No.
You should have left Nuke in. That's what you should have done.
1, 2, and 3.
It's pretty easy. I told you.
We're getting put on the spot here.
I think even chat already.
We're getting one.
His KD.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the score lines. I'm fucking sitting here going, what are we looking at here? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I see. Okay, but he went 24 for 43. What? Am I looking at the right game? Is it Liquid Cloud9?
No.
bracket semifinal.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not that one. I was looking at the wrong fucking game. That's why.
Australia's Cloud9.
Oh, the Australia's one.
Yeah.
It's not the last game.
It was not the last game, but for me it was the last game.
123. Okay.
I see. Okay. All right.
How do you go 123 in a game? Tell us so we can use the inverse of that.
Actually, I have highlight from this game. I will.
You have a high. Oh, did someone make the video?
Is it the fourth minor thing?
Oh man, I hate it when people fucking do that.
No. It's the best one. It's the best one.
I know exactly what you're talking. People make these like full hype montages of the one kill that gets fucking made, and oh man.
Here's the link. Here's the link. You must
Alright.
see
You
it. You
can
must
play.
see it.
You can play that.
Nafany can play that for everybody. It's 15 seconds long.
Just
so
no music because we're gonna get demonetized.
Oh yeah, you have to be
DMCA'd, and I don't know what.
Oh, it's because it's
Everyone knows the song.
like fourth minor, right? Or
The
something.
the
Yeah,
most
it is.
important kill. The most important kill.
are you able to
It's
play
a
it,
USB.
Lucas?
Amazing.
Is he here? 30 seconds. Okay, we're bringing it up. We're bringing it
I'm
up.
just saying, I think I know the person that came up with this meme format.
Template.
Yeah,
format's
and
decent.
you might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? Is it Blame F you kill?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Blame F.
Well, how do you
Thank-
feel about it being Blame F?
Thanks to Blame F, actually.
There you go. He gave you a
He
freebie.
always support me, so even there.
Look at it. Look at this. Look at the transition. Oh, there's Buster.
Yeah,
Hi,
it's
Buster.
Buster.
And then what a great highlight reel that was. Okay, so
Yeah, pretty nice one.
that's your highlight of Cologne, was it, Nafany?
The whole tournament was like this, so it was pretty fast, as you can see.
Why do you feel that was the case? Just no.
I have no energy for this tournament, let's say.
Yeah?
Yeah, nothing special, just no energy at all. It was a
Okay.
pretty tough season for me, so then that's it.
Okay.
How did you replenish that energy for the second?
I was in vacation first time since I was in Gambit, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
Where did
because
you go for
guys
vacation?
Fucking battled through the summer, right? And played like all the
I was
tournaments.
I was just saving money all the time. I was thinking that if something happened wrong, let's say, I must have money. And after this tournament, I was saying like, fuck it, better to spend it a bit at least.
Yeah, you got to
This is
enjoy
like
it,
the
man.
first sensible CS:GO professional player, man. Like what is
Well,
going
he's
on?
not
No,
buying
no, no,
blinged
no,
out
I-
Rolexes.
Actually, our team is full sensible about if we talk about money. Everyone is like really, let's say, it's a. I can't say it in English, but it's like everyone is pretty smart guy. Let's say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not just
what is
splashing the cash.
This
Yeah.
is the classic overdrive interview question. What is the biggest thing you spent on from your earnings, and why is the big anime pillow of? I don't know.
Actually,
any
I don't have
characters.
anyone. Anime pillow, so.
Is that actually an overdrive question?
Yeah, I mean all of his, his like big interviews. When he,
I don't think
like-
I've seen them.
I mean, he didn't.
I'm
do
sure you've
one
seen some.
in a while, but he always has this question: is like, so what did you do with the money? What's the biggest thing that you bought? And it's usually like apartment for my mom or something like that.
Okay. I don't know. Property's always nice. All right. So Cologne happens. Then we go into the player break, right? So we have the player break. Or sorry, Prof. I'm sorry,
Tournament-
Prof. The tournament break. I'm sorry, Prof. Don't hit me. Then we come out of that, and then you guys play EPL season 16, and that's in Malta. And you guys bop FaZe, and you guys managed to come third, fourth there. And I remember I was walking down the hallway there, and Carrigan's asking Axar why you guys always own him. I remember that conversation. Because you after the start of the year where you lost to FaZe 2 times in a row, you started to get the better of them. Do you think you started to understand how FaZe played, Nafany? Because you had the victory against them. Where was the at Dallas, right? And then that's after the major, so that could be a conversation about after the major. But then you beat them at Pro League as well. Why do you think you guys were able to beat FaZe a bunch?
It's a hard question. I guess we just was some were lucky, some were just better than they are in the current timing.
In percentage wise, how much was Exile a factor?
Yeah, actually, it's Exile. I mean, he always good versus FaZe for some reason. So that's it.
Does he talk
Like,
about
good,
it? Is he...
good is understating it, man. Like he fucking destroyed them in those 2 series.
I don't remember about EPL, but I just remember that in Dallas he was so fucking good in every game. So I can't say it's only about like FaZe game.
But I'm curious as to why that is. Like, why he has a good time against FaZe, though? Is it because it's just aiming? Like, he just feels like comfortable taking the fights against them?
I don't think so. As I say, it's just a good time for us every time when we play versus them. It's not something special. We always prepare for them like for any other team. So it's not something like that we are new how they playing or something. We just playing our game and that's it.
They're on a bit of an upswing. I see.
Do you think their style versus the style of a heroic or an outsiders, like what kind of team do you think Cloud9 performs best against?
It's hard to say. I mean, if we can lose to HC and win G2 in a short time, it's pretty tough to say.
So not sure yet. Still working it out, mate. Still okay. Let's keep jumping through. So we have EPL season 16. Then we go to the Rio Major, where you guys make it to the playoffs of the Rio Major, but you lose to Mouse in the quarterfinals, the round of 8. What's the view of the Major, mate? How was Rio for you?
You know, like 2 years ago or something like that, Groove say us then that if you play in tournament and you have a chance to win it because every favorite is upset or you already win every strong team, you must not lose this chance because this chance most likely never come again. And it's right about this tournament because it was a great chance for us to probably win this, but we fucked up really hard. And I guess that's why we have a reshuffles overall, because when something like this happening, it's pretty tough to play for and watch forward, let's say.
Okay.
I mean, for context, what he's talking about, they beat FaZe, they beat Navi, and they beat Heroic, which were like 3 of the kind of like 6-7 teams that we thought were going to be kind of like at least gunning for the title.
It was a 2-0 against Heroic. There was a blowout, and 16-14, 16-14 against Navi.
And
FaZe,
it was crazy comebacks actually.
In both those matches?
Yeah, and I mean
in FaZe for sure, and I'm not sure about Navi. Maybe it was just a tough game.
Navi was 13-7 as well.
Ah, okay.
So and you even started
comebacks as well.
In the play-in with like 2 losses. Oh,
yeah,
I think.
They had that Greyhound loss.
Then you had to play against Imperial.
I'm pretty sure that chat was really happy.
Me?
Yes.
No, man. It's great because they don't consistently get wins. It's like every now and again they'll put 16 rounds together and be like, that was okay, and then they go on and play the next game and it's like, well, that wasn't okay.
And it was like
if so, maybe.
The weird second best of one of the day, long day, and then the tech issues, then the sh1ro leg out in a key round, and then like triple overtime win. So it wasn't really, we all knew that could have ended up differently. But the return from that point, from 0-2 to get to the playoffs, is like it was that trajectory of like, this is the Cloud9 Boston run. It had all the elements. It was the story was there. And like going into the playoffs, were you guys feeling? Do you think you were feeling like too confident, or like maybe that it was looking too good essentially for you guys at that point?
I think first of all we practiced a lot versus Mouse, and we knew how to play versus them. And actually even for our days, I don't really know what we did wrong because. I remember this game and I was understand everything what we must do to win, but we fucked up really hard, and I still don't understand how to, let's say, not let us to do it.
Okay, so you should have won no matter what in that game.
I mean, I remember that we did a lot of mistake, but we was like winning 5-0 or 6-0 or something like that, and we was feeling the momentum, and everything was fine. And then a few stupid mistakes by me and a few other players, and that's it. And it's pretty. I mean, it's tough to even got these memories because when you know that it was like probably one of the best chances to get major, and obviously that everyone wants to win it, it's pretty tough.
Okay.
I mean, did you feel like that? Well, actually, I don't know how it went timeline wise. If Navi played before you or not? You played the first quarterfinal, or?
We played the first, as far as I remember. But anyway, we knew that Navi in other bracket, so if we will face versus them, it will be only final. In our bracket, it was like outsiders,
Mouse and Fnatic.
Mouse and Fnatic, yeah. So it's let's say it
you guys were the favorite.
It will for us it's not so easy, let's say, but it's not FaZe and Navi. And
Sure.
we usually not have such a bracket. We always have like FaZe, Liquid, Navi, or something. So it was really good for us. But
Yeah.
again, we did not feel like we are the favorites or something. We just was confident that it's really good chance for us, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the criticism. I just saw Maui in chat go yelling again. But a lot of the criticism back then about the mouse loss was like the T side, some of the like just your approach in terms of like generally how Cloud9 to play, like pretty slow and maybe a lack of utility, clearing some things together, just like letting mouse kind of dictate the pace of everything and their reads being pretty good, right? Do you think that like that was like from a tactical point of view, from like a calling point of view, was a kind of a bad performance from you?
I don't think so actually. And if you ever play in a team, you will understand that not always the strategies and the vision of the game it's about the captain. Some if you have like strong players, you must play not always how you want, but usually how they want, because it's the right way to win something. If you will have sh1ro, you must play in a way where sh1ro will be the best player because he can do it, and that's it. If you want be like the best team, you must let your players do what they want. And sometimes it's really hard to understand where to listen someone and where to say
Like put your foot down and call for yourself.
yes, that's it. And if we talk about mouse game, we lose not on T side mostly. We lose in city side. Again, maybe not. If it's not even about the score or something. It's more about our mentality. We was let's say shit
Wow,
on
it's like just
pants.
subscribe.
Again, a lot of people can hate me for my calling or something, and I can't even say that I don't give a fuck or something like that because I'm a cool caller or cool in-game leader. But let's be honest, I'm only 21. Can you call any good in-game leader in 21? Even if we will talk about Kerrigan, just anyone still remember when he was in FaZe? I mean, a lot of people was saying that Kerrigan is shit or something like that. I mean, where is that people right now?
You're talking about FaZe before he got replaced, right?
Yes.
The first time around. Yeah.
When they lost to Cloud9, actually, everyone was saying that Kerrigan is done or something like that. But Kerrigan is he's legend right now.
I actually love this because I was listening to the podcast you did with Kerrigan, Chad, and it lines up quite well, like what nafany is saying now and Kerrigan talking about exactly that FaZe lineup, like in terms of balancing you being the IGL and calling stuff and having like very strong opinionated players that you want to set up and how to balance like setting up one player versus the other players. And maybe this is also like maybe to talk about later with interz and his role on the team. But what Kerrigan said, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, was essentially that his problem in the first FaZe lineup was that he did give like too much space to everyone on the team to do whatever they wanted, and essentially he wasn't in a position to like criticize them, to tell them, yeah, actually this is how we need to play to win this game, not how you want, but how we need to play as a team, right? So it is a interesting similarity because of course you have Exile and sh1ro, and from what we know, sh1ro talks a lot and asks for, let's play like this, let's do this. So your kind of position is really tricky for someone, as you said, pretty young, but doesn't necessarily mean that it, in the end, if you don't win the game, maybe it wasn't the best approach, right?
Again, we must say that everyone have their roles, and if I'm in game leader and we're losing on T side, it's mostly not about the players because it's my role and I must be a leader, let's say. and if we are losing, it's my fault anyway. So I'm not saying that everyone else is bad and I'm good, but sometimes when you're losing, it's not about only your fault, let's say. And let's be honest, in my team, for example, even sh1ro, he understands game way better than me, and his mind is way clearer than mine. But everyone have their advantages and disadvantages, and sometimes better to give this role to a player who maybe understand the game worse than you, but still he could let's say figure out something some things way better than you.
Do you think this comes down kind of like to your roles, especially, and just kind of tendencies as players? Because obviously sh1ro is very measured, you know, and like will always take the right peaks and the right timings. He will be kind of like more on the passive side and always look for the best opportunities and things like that. While you could not be further away from that, you know, in terms of like the play style that you have, right? Like always being in the front, always having to be at least a little bit tunnel visioned on like getting the space and like being focused on your crosshair. Being always the first guy in, right? So do you think that's also something that you struggle with a little bit, you know, having the right overview of the game when you're in that role?
I don't think so. I mean, for now, I'm the one thing in which I pretty sure is that if sh1ro wants to do something, I must just let him do it, because if even he's wrong, we are a team. We must figure out it, and that's it. And I believe in this lineup, in everyone. So if anyone will say, let's go rush B 5 times in a row and we will fuck them easily, I will say, okay, no problem. If you want so, let's do it. And again, but if we lose this game because we was rushing B all time, it was still my fault because I led to do it.
You're still responsible for making that call, right? Like eventually.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's what I want to say. And the main thing, which I understand right now, I'm not the best in-game leader in the world, and seems like I will not be the best in-game leader in the world in the next few years. But still, I'm only 21, and I don't know anyone who was the best in-game leader in 21. So, and that's it. That's in what I believe.
Okay, I want to kind of touch in as well with what STYKO was talking about with your playstyle a little bit, maybe, because is it one of these things in game where, because some of the moves you make, you're not as a crazy aggressive player like Art, but you still go for like aggressive moves, right? Like you try and make the
Let's
space.
say I'm not even close with Art.
No, nobody is. But sometimes I watch you go for an opening move and I'm like, that, you know, I could see Art doing that move, right? But when you go for those opening moves, is it because you, at least with the older roster, is it like you didn't feel that there was enough other players to try and make that type of space? Is that just like one of those in-game leader type calls and plays to make space? Was it out of sometimes out of desperation, or you feel like that's kind of your signature?
First of all, let's be honest. I like to play aggressive. It's how I feel comfortable myself. But in the other hand, I feel like I could be a passive player because I understand how it works. But in our team, we already have like Exile, who is not aggressive at all. I mean, he could do some aggressive moves, but it's not about, let's say, playing middle in Mirage at T side, where you must make some crazy stuff. And it's not about, let's say, Vertigo ARM, where if Exile will play, he will play most likely good, but he will not play as aggressive as I'm playing. And that's it. Sometimes you must play aggressive just because enemy will think, are you playing some crazy stuff again or not? And that's it.
Okay, so adding a bit of the random and unknown into the mix. All right, so I don't know, where do we want to pivot from here, boys? Because obviously what comes next is...
I have a question for you, Chad.
Yeah, okay.
The question, do you think that nafany should just think that he's the best in-game leader in the world and that would make him like win more?
Yeah, well, that's the power of self-belief. That's the power of self-belief, nafany.
I'm believing in myself, but it's a difference. I mean, you must learn from the best. And for now, in my opinion, best game leader in the world, it's Kerrigan. And if we talking about like last 2 years, and if we're talking about like current game leader, it's maybe HooXi. He's really good at his strategy, let's say, and that's it. You must be fair with yourself, I will say.
Do you
I
ever
mean,
look? Yeah.
I mean, maybe in online era, I was in short timing one of the best, not the best, but one of the best, because I was fragging game leader and I was calling really good because I was feeling really comfortable, most likely.
Sure.
But
Well,
do you
yeah.
still have a like? How do you find inspiration from those guys? Because here they obviously have very different teams. You know, like G2
Very
and
different
FaZe are
play
quite
styles.
similar.
Yes.
Well, exactly. They're very similar to each other, but compared to you guys, it's like night and day, right? Like you guys are much more measured, much more slow. You know, you don't play so much off like individuals that they the way they do, at least. You know, so I'm curious about like how do you find inspiration from these two guys?
Again,
Kerrigan and HooXi, you know?
I'm not saying that I'm want to be like Kerrigan or like HooXi. I have my own way, and I want to be just myself. And the main thing, what I can say about them, that they're working a lot and they're trying to move their vision. Because if you look how playing FaZe and G2, they are really different teams. So the main thing, what I want by myself, it's just letting my team win, and that's it.
But can you like how do you we're talking about kind of like learning from the best, right? So like how do you do that? You know, when it's people that are maybe
Playing the
similar
game
to you in
differently.
terms of like play style as individuals, but not so much like in terms of how they call for the team.
Let's say if you will if you will watch like G2 demos, you will try to understand. Bless you.
Thank you.
You will try to understand their vision, why they doing that or other move. And after that, you realize how can you counter that, and that's how it works, I believe.
So you're not looking to adopt what they're doing; you're looking to counter what they currently do. But when you look at Heroic, FaZe, and G2 at the moment, like they're very reactive teams, right? And your team is more like map control and then like making decisions a little bit later within the rounds, whereas they're constantly playing for info, constantly moving around the map. That feels like the meta at the moment. So do you like feel any temptation to start trying to play that style, or do you want to keep going in the way that you're going, especially now that you've just brought a new player in? I guess you want to build that base back up again.
Again, I don't really think that it's only my vision. Let's say if it's not only about me, because I'm not that in-game leader who provide all my vision to whole team. It's more about me, sh1ro, Hobbit, Groove, Exile, like everyone actually. If we will say about that, maybe in previous lineup, interz was pretty quiet about that. But now with boosters, he is saying a lot about how he want to heal us, and that's it.
Okay. Well, let's turn to Rio now, because from what you were saying, I got the. You said you couldn't look forward with the loss that you had in Rio. That beating the better teams and kind of having an open playoff bracket was your tournament to win, right? Based on what you were saying, what Groove said, and not being able to claim the title there is something which was like a catalyst, a turning point for you to consider having a roster change. Would that be fair to say?
I will say that we was speaking about the roster change even in spring when we lost previous major in Antwerp.
Okay, so Imperial.
It wasn't like surprise for anyone. We was speaking about that because we're a pretty fair team. We did not. We are saying to player, even let's say not only interz could be moved. It was obviously me, because I was playing like a shit previous year, and it was for me at least, obviously that most likely we will have shuffles. So that's it.
Why did it take 6 more months after that then? Because of Dallas?
Not only because of Dallas, we was getting better and better. And if we will see our results after Cologne, it was not not shit, let's say. It was pretty well. We was top 4 at EPL as far as I remember.
Yeah, third, fourth. Yep.
Yeah, so, and we lost versus Liquid, and it was not an easy match, I will say. And again, let's say if we move one player, it don't mean that we fix all our problems and everything is fine now. No, it's not working like that. It's obviously that we are still trying to figure out some things, and it's like in every other team.
Okay.
I guess
So,
we can delve into that, right?
yeah. Well, where do you want to take us here,
I mean, just
Striker?
the whole Buster move, right? Because like it, obviously when those rumors started kind of swirling around and like
in
the options that
December.
you guys were looking at, yeah, it was like obviously you guys had a lot of time to figure things out because Rio was your last tournament and that was like early November. You didn't have anything to play because it was all the blast tournaments and whatever. Like after that, and only your first tournament would be Katowice, right? Like from between the major and the following year. So how do you approach that? You know, like, and how quickly did you realize that Buster was the player to get?
It was not like so long for us. We was testing few players and we was chatting with each other after that. And it was kinda not so hard to choose a Buster. We was speaking with each other, and as far as I remember, Groove said that most likely we will pick Buster if everything will be fine. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty similar with interz in term of their positions and how they play, because both pretty passive players. They don't do crazy stuff like me or Art or Boomich or someone else. So we was looking for a player who can feel pretty well, and he will not change our game really hard, let's say.
Was that never
So-
under consideration? You know, was it always going to be the like a similar type of player, or did you even talk about potentially getting, like there were rumors about like people like Forrester, you know, who probably would have changed your style quite a bit, or at least you would have had to do something to accommodate for him more than just fit him into that spot. So was that ever a talk?
I don't think it's fair to say who we test right now, because it's not so far when we test it. Let's say if we will talk about it 1 year
We'll ask
after.
again later. It's okay.
Yeah, then it's fine. But I mean, we tested few players, and it was not always similar with interz, but still, we even test in other positions. And the one thing which I really like in Booster, that he can feel in any role. He could play in, let's say, Mirage Connector. If I will say that I'm so fucking bad, let me play B. So I really like it, because if you will talk about interz, he's a pretty passive player, and he I can't say that he's I would say that he's a really great and cool player in terms of if you want to say him what you want from him. I mean, he could not say in Mirage 1414, I will rush underground and kill 2 people. And when you have such player, it's pretty cool. But sometimes you must understand that he could only do what you want, and sometimes
They wouldn't take initiative.
Yes, that's it. And it's not bad, but for now and for our team, we just need some player who could say, hey guys, I will lurk B, and if everything is fine, just rotate to me. It's already happened in few games with Booster. Maybe and it was important games actually. So I can see that it's not, let's say, way better than it was with interz, but it's different, and it's what we want, I will say.
Okay.
And again, actually, I'm really surprised that I can see that few teams really struggling, and I can see how interz can easily feel them, but they not interesting for some reason.
What can you talk more specifically?
Let's say I don't really know about maybe they. I don't know about invites to interns because I'm not talking with him about that. Maybe he already chose his next team or something because, as I said, I don't know any specific information. But I can see easily at least like 3 teams who have some struggles, and interns can feel them easily because seems like they don't have like consistent player, and that's it.
Okay, interesting. Question: how's Inter's English?
I don't think that it's need a lot of time to practice it. If
Okay.
you're not in game leader, you can just let's say 1 month and everything will be fine.
Do you think he could play on an international team if they needed him to speak?
Easily. He's pretty cool guy. If we talk about like communication with other people, he's pretty funny and he could easily feel to anyone.
Okay, well that's interesting. We actually have our N1 moment about
He has the wife buff now.
about Inter's, I believe.
Actually,
Correct,
true.
Prof?
I wasn't surprised. I was expecting it. I'm read that this situation.
To get married.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And I'm really happy about him.
I think that's the N1 moment, right, Prof?
Yeah, that's it.
We can bring it up. We can bring it up right now, Lucas. This is Inter's getting married now. Look, how old is Inter's? Because he's probably about 21, man. I couldn't imagine finding the love of my life and getting married at 21, but I'm bloody glad he has.
22,
okay,
yeah.
sorry,
22.
mate. 22. Bloody hell. He's a young hubby now. But looks like
let's
a very
be honest. My older brother was already in when my parents was like 21 or 20.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm just saying. Look, I'm happy for him, mate. It's rare to see. He looks nice in a tie. I used to see him at events. He go to the gym. He looks like he's got his shit together. Old Inters. He's fucking worked it out. He's married already. He's already completed one of the big tasks. He's ticked it off the list. So congratulations to Inters. And maybe he can get on an international team or any team.
I hope so actually, because in my opinion he will fit it easily because his mindset is pretty well for international team in my opinion. Again,
I tune into his streams. I watch him grinding. But so your biggest criticism of him as a player is he's too good of a soldier and will just do as he's told.
I can't say it's a criticism. As I said, it's
just doesn't fit your
that,
team.
Yes, for now, because if we talk about like 2 years ago, if we will have a different player, not interest, it will be pretty tough for us to win at least one tournament in line.
Okay.
Because we have like 4 players who could say something like I will lurk or I will push something, and if it doing like 3 or 4 players, it's okay, but if it's doing like 5 people, it's pretty hard to play.
Sure. So you need someone who's going to take a few more options and chances, which Buster definitely does, or I've seen him do in the past, right? So you end up picking Buster up for this team. There's something you mentioned there, mate. I want to ask you a question about this one because I know there's some people at home probably have questions about you in this position that you just referenced. So you just said swapping yourself, like hypothetically speaking, you put Buster from B in correct connector on Mirage and you over towards B, right? Why do you play connector on Mirage?
Just because I'm feeling comfortable at this position. That's it.
It helps. Look, this is the thing. Like, I can understand it from an in-game leader perspective, playing that position because you get all the info, right? You know what's going on at A, you know what's going on in mid. You can call the troops around, but I think one of the reasons that people at home have a hard time with it's a fragging role, right? So
let's see. We have Exile who don't really want to play connector because he likes to play short. And he's good at it, right? And also short, it's a killing position. You could kill B, you could kill middle, and also you could even kill A if they
cross without some
quick rotation.
Yeah. So Exile, we can touch him because he wants to play short, right?
Okay, he can stay.
We have Hobbit, who really good at anchor A because he could stay alive for a long time. He could make some frags, and you can just leave him alone at A and don't give a fuck about A because everything is fine. So with Hobbit, pretty understandable, right?
Well, sure.
Okay. Let's say if you will change him with me, for example, it will be a bit worse.
You will
because,
be shit. You will be shit at his position, is what you're trying to
yes,
say.
yes. That's what I'm trying to say. Because they will just everyone will just run out from slope and kill me, and that's it. And we fucked up with this game. So with Hobbit, we can forget about him.
Okay.
Buster, he is a pretty well player. He could play connector if we will let him. No, I will not let him. But yeah, he's pretty well at B, and we're fine. And also, I don't think that we just need. Let's see. If we talk about like Robs, he's we can't say that he's star player, but still he's like pretty strong player, right?
Sure.
But if you will look how Rob's playing connector, you will say that Rob's not really play connector because he playing jungle, window, stairs, and not really connector.
He's not fighting for mid.
For connector, let's say, because sometimes he could
They
do
jump out
something.
mid. Okay, all right. I'm with you.
But if we will look, for example, to Nika, he's I don't really remember. He's still playing connector as far as I remember. He playing more aggressive, and he's killing people, and that's it. It's two different players. And if we will take me, for example, I'm like Robs, not really playing connector because I'm usually somewhere. I could be underground, I could be pushing middle, I could be in slope, in apps, in B sometimes, but really rare, but still. And that's what I want to say. I'm really active player which could be everywhere, right?
Sure.
And let's say if I'm a player, I could not rush underground because if I will rush underground, then someone must play A instead of me, right?
Yes.
And A, it's really important position because terrorist, as everyone knows, could plant bomb at this position, right?
That's true.
So
that is a fact.
So isn't it easier to let me play connector and be everywhere because terrorist can't plant bomb in connector? Very smart decision. Don't you think so?
Logic. I like it.
I see
like
that. I see how we got here. I definitely. But look, I will counter and say even Vitality moved Apex to B.
I don't think it's good decision actually.
Okay. All right. We'll see how that one shapes up.
And it's one more thing about Vitality because, in my opinion, they have like 5 good players, but the main thing why they did not, they're not consistent. Let's say because I still think that on some maps they're best team, but they are not consistent in my opinion because they have some conflict roles with Apex and Dupree. Because Dupree is pretty much aggressive player and Apex pretty much aggressive player, and that's why, in my opinion, they so fucking good with JACKZ. Because JACKZ is not so aggressive as Dupree, and that's it.
I would say he's more aggressive actually.
They use him to entry on executes, but I guess it depends on how nafany's defining the aggression here and where we're looking at that aggression. Are we talking like info fact finding on CT sides because he's probably more likely going to hold lines?
Right.
Well, on the executes, they use JACKZ to go in first. Like, that's for sure. Like, JACKZ will just fucking beeline in with the flashes and the mollies. But if nafany's more talking about playing for info and that type of stuff.
Like the space creator role, you know, you would say, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So then I can see what he's talking about with Dupree and Apex.
But
still, I'm saying it, and in the past, I'm fan of Dupree. And I'm not saying that Dupree is bad. I'm just saying that why Apex is playing not his best. Why he is not in his best form, let's say.
All right.
Because he could be very strong player in my opinion. He just need right roles.
Okay. Well, let's dive in on some roles, shall we? Let's talk about your team as it is because we were just talking about Buster being added to the team. So, assumably, you landed on him because he plays the same positions or very similar positions as interz, so you can plug him and you don't have to change too much else. But he brings more experience to the team and he'll take more initiative in certain situations. What is that about it? Is that kind of the summary of what he brings?
I don't think about experience because it's too late to say that we don't have some experience or something. It's strange to say it right now because we have a lot of LANs in the background, and maybe not even Booster maybe have a bit more than we are, but still not really much more.
Okay. So experience not a factor here. So then just the initiative he's going to take then. We boil it down to
And
that.
maybe it's just we're trying to have some honeymoon, but we didn't have it,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Well, not in Katowice, but Pro League's going pretty well.
Yeah, but it's still not because of honeymoon, I will say.
Okay, just because of good Counter-Strike.
Their quality, maybe.
Quality, yeah, that's it. Quality. I like this. I like this.
Okay. All right. So he's been in the team now for what? A month and a half? 2
Yeah.
months? Something like that?
I will say a month and a half because when we choose him, we was not training a lot. It was players break. So
Okay. So what's the timeline looking like? Is this like we add him and we want to be winning by become the first major, or you give the team 6 months to get it in the right place? Like, what does bringing a new player to this team look like? Because the last time you did it, it was Supra, right?
And again, we must notice that when we add Hobbit, we was fucked up in 2 next tournaments, as far as I remember. At least at 1, but as far as I remember, 2.
Okay.
And Hobbit, and everyone was saying, why you changing Supra? He's so fucking good. Why you taking Hobbit? He will do a disaster with your team. Why? And we was just calm and patient. And then Hobbit was so fucking good addition for us. And everyone was saying that Groove is a genius, that he
Best
bring
coach of the
Hobbit
year.
to... Actually, it's true, but suddenly that mass media don't think in such way.
I'm curious about Hobbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You asked this. I'll kind of derail.
I'm curious about Hobbit because I think like a big part of why you were so strong at for most of 2021 was because you just had a really strong trio of players and very consistent, especially like it was sh1ro, Exile, and Hobbit. Like you'd almost always get 2 of them really popping off, you know. And I'm curious about like how Hobbit's form has decreased somewhat in the last year, especially.
He was back in Pro League, but you bang on. I was just gonna
say that, yeah. Like, and now that he's kind of back, obviously sh1ro was fucking amazing at Pro League, and like that's undeniable, you know. But it's also Hobbit who's playing up to a much better standard. That he was just more up and down last year, and I'm curious about how much you think that affects your team, on how much he's online and how much he's not.
Okay, let's be honest. If previous year, it's not about online. First of all, it's more about
not online. I mean, I meant like where he's on fire, rather.
Okay, I got it. As I said, it's not about online, but the main thing, it's while our team have a lot of struggles previous year, and if be honest, if me and Hobbit we would play like we played in 2021. Of course, we will not have these reshuffles, but it's obviously because if we will play like we played before, we will win everyone, and that's it. But of course, we have some struggles, and it's not surprise for us because previous year, as I said, was pretty tough for everyone. We moved to another country. Hobbit moved to another country again, and for him, I would say, and I respect it because he not living with his family. I mean, in Kazakhstan, because it's impossible to play any pracs from Kazakhstan, obviously, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty tough to play like 4 years in a row without your family, especially if you have like a child. It's pretty tough, I believe. So yeah.
Okay, so human struggles.
Yeah, and that's it. It's mostly because of it, I will say.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we can see him.
I had a question. Was
it better be a good one, Prof.
Yeah. Has to be the best.
Better
Okay,
be a
then
good one.
I'm gonna go for my best question right
Nice.
here, because what you're mentioning before is like, you made this change, then everyone's saying it's gonna be a shit change. Groove doesn't know what he's doing. Then someone else, you make another change, they're gonna again be saying like, why the fuck are you picking up busters? Bring back interz. Why is nafany making these calls? Nafany doesn't know anything what he's doing. Nafony, all of this shit. There's always been kind of, as you said, they're only in Dallas where you kind of crowd favorites. You're always not really liked that much. There's always, whatever you do, there's always this community pressure, media pressure, whatever, that you don't know what you're doing, that you're doing the wrong thing, that you're chokers, that you can't repeat what you did online. Like for you individually, how do you deal with this? How much does it reach you, and how does it affect you essentially?
First of all, every pro player have a lot of shit behind him. It always was like this, and it will be like this in the future, because popularity, it's not only about glory, money, and in enjoyable spend of time, let's say. It's also about the haters, about the people which don't really understand what's going on, with people who just want to do some shit for you and other stuff. So it always was like this, even online. But 2022, it was overall it was a shit year. Let's be honest. Even worse than COVID. So I think somewhere in the middle of this year, I figure out how to live with all this shit behind me. And for now, I don't really care what some analysts can say about me. Everyone understand what I mean, I believe.
Which analyst?
You understand which analyst.
That's what I'm saying.
So first of all, it's pretty. First time it was pretty tough for me, I will say again. But for now, I can't say that I don't give a fuck. But I don't really care about that how I care about that before, let's say.
Yeah. Did you? So this was one of the viewer questions. I don't know the name. Sorry, but someone asked, did your approach or thoughts on like mental coach or sports psychologist change, or what? How do you employ any of those in Cloud9?
Actually, as I know, Cloud9 have really good psychologist, but here is only one problem. In our team could speak English pretty well, only 4 people, and we have 7 people in our team, as you can understand. And it's pretty tough to find someone who could speak Russian, and he will be good specialist, or how it's called.
Specialist works, yeah, sports psychiatrist.
Really hard word, actually. But yeah, so it's pretty tough for us to find someone, but I believe that we will figure out it somehow, and everything will be fine.
So you'd like to use one? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I think it's good experience, even if it not help me as a psychologist, but it could help me with my English skills. Let's say if he will speak English,
okay,
for example. So anyway, it was good. It will be good experience for me, but let's see how it will be in the future.
Turning into a positive either way.
Idea.
Yeah. Okay. So I look at this, man, and I look, you've got AX1Le and sh1ro on your team, and last year they were what, 3rd and 4th best players in the world. It must make your pracs pretty fun watching them tear everybody apart.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
When you're watching sh1ro and AX1Le in practice, are they just destroying everybody?
Usually yes.
Yeah.
But they
fun to watch.
Sometimes it's pretty fun because we have like pretty good mood last few weeks, on procs. It's really funny to play. And that's it. Yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
is
you must have had a lot more fun during Pro League, like watching what sh1ro was doing to G2, for example.
sh1ro is crazy right now. I mean, he's good. He got really good form, and I believe in one day he will be #1 in the world. I believe so.
I'm curious about one thing
day
about
is that?
actually.
Which day is that? This year? Next year?
I hope so. I hope so. It's depend on team, because we understand that he could be insanely good, but still we must help him to do it.
Hmm.
Because let's say if ZywOo will drop same numbers, but they have like some titles, it will not work with her like that.
I was going to ask about sh1ro's improvement from, let's say, 2021 to 2022. I think like one of the reasons why he was dropped below NiKo, right, during 2021 in the ranking was essentially that like a lot of his rating came from Deathspawn, and he didn't have as much direct impact on the team's wins, you know, compared to a guy like NiKo, who obviously was way more impactful at the time. But heading into 2022, you know, like looking at those stats and some of those key points where like that we kind of brought sh1ro down for the previous year, a lot of that's definitely improved in terms of like that he's much more directly impactful on teams' wins, and just like not as much, not as passive, just takes a lot more opportunities and things like that. Is this something that you've noticed in him, or like in terms of like his approach, how he thinks about the game differently? Has there been any like visible change between those years, or at any points in the last 2 years?
I think everyone in team changed as a players and as a persons. And the second thing I will say that he is more experienced than before, obviously. And we must understand that NiKo is 26 right now and sh1ro only 21. So it's pretty reasonable that sh1ro's best age is coming.
Yeah.
okay. The prime's still coming.
Yeah, and I believe that he will be the best player in the world, not 1 year, let's say. I believe in it.
All right. Well,
I hope so. I hope so.
We can keep
he's
an
not
eye
far
out.
off.
No, not really either. That's it could come around real quick. The
I have
days
a
are
related-
flying by.
I have a related question.
A related
Again-
question. We love
again,
those.
did not write down I have some names written down, for example, from Oliver, but we're not asking Oliver's question right now.
Unlucky
The
Oliver.
question is about future top oppers from the region.
Oh.
Did anyone catch your eye in terms of who would you see as there's a lot of good ones right now, but a few up and coming ones as well.
Actually, I knew a few players in which I really believe. It's not oppers, certainly, but if we talk about oppers, it's obviously Wrinkle. He's playing for Beta as far as I remember. He's from Ukraine as far as I remember as well. Also Wonderful, but he's already in Spirit. And one more nickname, but I forgot his nickname actually. Let me think. Let me open HLTV.
You said Wrinkle.
Wrinkle, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him Runkle when I cast him.
No.
There's Donk from Spirit Academy.
Isn't he a rifler?
So he's not an
Donk is
he's not
pretty
an
well
opper.
player, but
Yeah,
he's
but
not
he
an
said
opper.
he has different. It doesn't have to be an opper.
Right,
Like
right.
you can-
Okay,
you
then
can
I will
expand.
say Alpha. He's FPL player and he was in our academy team, but I noticed him even before, and I will say that he's future of CS for sure.
You said
believe in him.
Alpha?
Alpha, yeah.
Okay.
He's playing in some international teams right now, and I believe everything will be fine for him. And
Okay.
someone will catch him because he's pretty good player and pretty good guy.
Is that just LPHA?
Yeah.
He's in X Blue Jays.
He played with them, but I don't think that he's playing like.
I mean, I'm just making sure that this is the right guy, because I like it's.
Yeah, it's the right guy. 18
Okay.
years old.
Yeah.
0.99 statistic, not really well, but still.
Okay.
I had a question I wanted to ask about Booster. with him in the team, is there any residue or like when he? Maybe how can I phrase this a little bit better? Does he still play as if he's playing for Jame? Are there any
No.
No.
We speak about that with him, and he said that we're playing like I will not say like who, but still that he likes how we play, and it's way different than he played with James.
Yeah, he's not saving every round, so it's only every second round.
As HLTV.org saying, we saving really recently.
Yeah,
really often.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe
here is a lot of difference. I mean, not difference, but similarities.
Maybe that's why he likes it, and it's so similar. He's just saying this is better though. Maybe he just likes the colors more. Likes the Cloud9 cloud. He likes being next to sh1ro and nafany and Hobbit. There could be a lot of reasons. Who knows? Going back to Striker's question about sh1ro, one of the conversations we have a lot is at some point for sh1ro, he went from being like the system AWPer, right? The guy who would do everything you need. He'd hold the angles. He'd take the space with the AWP. He'd lock areas down, to a guy who went, actually, you know what? I'm fucking better than everybody. I'm going to do whatever I want, right? Like he like that switch got flicked at some point for sh1ro. Did you notice that as well? Like in bigger games, he started taking more risks, finding more impact?
I think he always was like trying to do... he was always doing what he wanted, let's say. But his playstyle is changing as he changed as well as a person, as a player. His vision is changed as well, and he just doing whatever he wants, and that's it.
Okay. Well, do you think that same thing needs to happen with AxI?
Kinda
That's a
yes.
yes. I take that as a
yes. Kinda yes, but still, it's not like everyone doing whatever he wants. It's still like we have a structure, and in this structure, sometimes it's really rare, but still, I can say that no, please don't do it. Please.
Okay. Because it just looks like sh1ro plays with an attitude, and it looks like AxI doesn't. Like when we watch the big matches, unless AxI's playing FaZe, and then he has.
I think the way to put it, I feel like would be sh1ro plays like he is the best AWPer in the world, and AxI plays like he's sometimes plays like he's the best rifle in the world, and it looks like he is in some games, but not. I wouldn't say like every game. Like most of the 50% at least of the games, he doesn't seem like he's just like going out and owning everyone and just taking a duel super confidently.
And that's not saying he isn't the best rifler in the server. It just doesn't look like he's backing himself to be,
Yeah.
But it's curious because like we know what sh1ro can deliver, and we know what AxI can deliver. And if they both are delivering at the same time, well, then we know how destructive Cloud9 can be. It's a very, very scary monster over there. But nafany, you want to get into the game show with us, mate? You want to do Skinionaire? You want us to ask you some couple of questions? Yeah, nice. Okay. Are you ready, Lucas? You're sitting up straight. I can hear you. Yeah, he's put his headset back on.
He's on the couch or something, getting up right now.
Shit, I'm still here. He promises.
No,
All right,
let's
get into Skinionaire. Everybody at home, type BitSkins in chat right now if you would like to enter the draw to win potentially a $50 skin. Tonight, our lucky contestant is none other than nafany, who we've just strapped down for a 60-minute hot seat. Let's see how this quiz goes. Now, nafany, we got 5 questions, multiple choice. Striker, if you need any help, you can ask him. He can be the gentleman to give you a hand with these questions if you need them. And tonight, Prof, what is the theme of the quiz?
The theme is Cloud9.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we go. Lucas, are you ready? All right. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by BitSkins. Question number 1. Renegades have won one.
These are not the question.
That's last year.
What? That's not
Last
about
year.
Cloud9.
Last episode.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll try again. Lucas, do you need to fill out the whole thing again? Do we?
I mean, the question is definitely wrong, but I'm looking at the correct questions. I have no idea why this is. Just a sec.
That's all right. We'll just fill some air right now. So everyone just start juggling.
I can do some questions. I can do a viewer question.
Yeah. Okay. Throw a viewer question. Wait, you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Let's try again. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Question number 1, brought to you by BitSkins. Okay, it worked. It wasn't as good of an intro, though. Question 1. Cloud9 made only 3 major playoffs. E-League, Rio, and Antwerp 2022, Katowice 2019, Cologne 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there's only one right answer here. Who would have thought? It's not Antwerp 2022. We know that much.
Mm-hmm. Actually, pretty hard.
I could give you a hint. Actually,
I
don't want to give you the answer, but I could give you the hint. They lost on cobblestone to get eliminated from the tournament.
Go. That's a big hint.
2.
To an IP.
Oh, okay. Actually, I knew it.
Oh, what is it? We got 7 seconds.
Let's go.
I will say 2014.
All right, lock it in, Cologne 2014, and that is the correct answer.
Actually, I just realized only right now that it's pretty easy because Katowice 2019, it was
the new Cloud9, right? Like with Golden and whatever.
Yes,
like,
and it was not really good.
No, they weren't very good. They weren't very good, mate.
Really quickly.
There's a lot of bad Cloud9 teams.
People weren't sleeping on them. I'll tell you
Just
that
unlucky,
much.
just unlucky. Shit happens.
Sometimes
you must make some mistakes before you make a goal decision.
Yeah, they had a couple more of those, but then they made a good one, and then they got you. All right, question number 2. Which roster did C9 acquire when first joining CSGO? Was it iBuyPower, was it Complexity, or was it Liquid?
Oh, easy.
Yeah, which one?
Complexity, obviously.
Bang, lock it in. Jordan Nothing, Gilbert, Sean Gares, Semphis.
I don't know how much you watched the old CSGO, so some of these questions might be difficult.
How
maybe
old
not.
would you have even been then?
You said you're 21 now, right? So
holy shit.
That
it would
was
have been like 15, 16.
More like 12, 13.
Wait,
2013.
What?
Yeah,
2013 is when they...
2013.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fucking hell.
It was 10 years ago, lol. I was 11.
Oh my god. Let's get
I just realized it right now. The fuck?
Jesus.
I started watching at 11. I can... Something like
that makes me feel real old. All right, let's get into question number 3, shall we? Cloud9's first big event win happened in 2016. Who was the MVP? Was it Automatic, Nothing, or Stewie 2K?
Oh, it's a hard one. I don't think is Nothing have any MVP.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think Jordan has any MVPs, not in CSGO.
No,
well, probably not in 1.6 any relevant tournaments either, I don't think.
And I think 2016.
Automatic or Stewie?
Yeah.
Stewie must have only joined in 2016,
this
though,
was
right?
Pro League season 3, right? I think.
Was that the one where they won in the one they won in Brazil? Belo Horizonte?
Yeah.
It could have been Stewie. It could have been either of them.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. Is Automatic was playing like? I will say Automatic.
All right, lock in an Automatic.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
well, wait, no,
I gave him the fucking MVP. I just couldn't remember it.
You gave it to him.
I gave it to him.
I just remember that Stewie was not playing like star roles. He was like overpass underground or something.
Running through smokes a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, so it's pretty hard to get MVP.
That's true. All right, question number 4. We're flying through this one here this evening. Who from the list wasn't a part of Cloud9? YNK, Stunner, or Henry G?
So one of the 3 wasn't employed by Cloud9.
Okay, Henry G was. I can't see nicknames because of.
Oh, it's Stunner, the host, or YNK?
YNK.
Okay, yeah, that's right. We locked that in. Stunner
it was easy one actually.
Yeah, Stunner was the manager of the team once upon a time. All right, and 5th question, 5th and final. Who was the first player to leave the Colossus project? Was it Woxic, Floppy, or Mezzi? Leave or was
easy Woxic.
Good job.
It was easy one because I remember how we fucked them at Vertigo. I was killing Woxic every fucking time. He was playing at ramp, and I was just going through smoke and killing him.
So what you're saying is you were the reason for HooXi getting kicked out of Cologne.
Most likely, because I was just going through smoke, killing him, and he was typing in chat that he's lagging, he can't play with Discord, and I remember that.
Bloody hell. Okay, well, that is the correct answer. That's 5 from 5, Nafany. Congratulations. You've won some lucky winner at home a $50 skin. So you're someone's champion this evening.
I guess anyone could now donate it to me.
You've just made... Is there an I in there? Philarbs? I can't see. Is there an I in there?
Yeah.
Philarbs, following since 2021. Is the lucky winner of tonight's prize, brought to you by BitSkins, and of course one for you by Nafany, and that is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire. All right, we can keep this one moving. Lucas, do you want to run some ads?
It's a good vibe, train. It's a good vibe, train. It's a good vibe, train. Good vibe, train.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Bet. Your bet, your game.
All right, we're back, baby. Hope the break was beautiful and you all got a nice bit of H2O inside you. I've got my water bottle right here, but it's empty. I will not be drinking any more water until we're done, unfortunately. So you guys can hydrate for me. Now, Prof, can you tell everybody why we should care that Farlig replaces Regali on Copenhagen Flames? Make this interesting. Otherwise, we're moving on.
I'm sorry, I can't do this.
But actually, it's very interesting because
where is Regali going?
I think it's interesting.
That's the question.
I mean, that is.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
I just wanted someone else to jump on it.
Regali is actually pretty promising offer, and it's pretty surprising me, let's say, because I believe that in the future he could be really well.
Do you think that he's already found a team, Nafany, and he's going somewhere else?
I don't know. It's a hard one again.
That's what I think is the interesting part of this. You okay? STYKO, do we know anything? You've been keeping your head down?
They've said that that's not the reason at all. They've like very, very specifically said that it wasn't because he got another offer. They just thought it was a good replacement. That is the official reason.
Interesting.
It seemed like from the wording,
very vague.
Like they never really said it specifically that it was for like outside of the game or like personality stuff. But that's definitely the vibe that I was getting from like those statements. That it wasn't necessarily got to do with like the numbers that he was putting up. Because
Regali was from Denmark.
Well, he's Romanian, but he's been living in Denmark for a long time. I think he grew up there or something. Like he speaks the language. He speaks the language.
I just guess that maybe that's the reason.
No. That he speaks Danish.
But this is the question then, guys. This is the question. We've got our resident Dane here, who runs the tier 2, tier 3 leagues in Denmark.
Oh no!
The man who should know if something's up. Lucas, reporting in for duty here this evening. Better than TV2. Don't you fucking ask yourself any questions about it. He's got all the goss before it's out. Lucas, what's the news?
He's just benched. That's it.
Come on, man.
No.
I mean,
don't pull that shit.
That is legit. That is legit what seems to be happening. Yeah.
Like I think the talk of the town is that it's a bit weird to bench your best player, when you're then pulling up Farlig and you don't really know if he's gonna perform. So it's a bit of a joker move to make. But like if you read into the announcement that they send out, it doesn't sound like they did it because Farlig was sold or something. Not Farlig, but the regali was sold. Like it sounds like maybe they just had problems and
Oh,
had
dear.
to.
Maybe let's say we don't know what happened inside the team, but maybe he was like screaming every proc that he's the best, and everyone else is so fucking stupid, and
Okay.
that's why they moved him.
Do you want me to give? I'll give everyone a reenactment of how the practices would be going.
Let's go. Let's
All
go.
right. Let me get into my regali. Oh, here we go.
Let's just preface this with one thing. We don't know that this happened, right?
So this
Like,
is the
we just-
this is
just a
It's a
potential.
reenactment.
This is a
potential
reenactment
situation.
of how
Yeah.
Nafany thinks the practice goes down. Okay, everyone comes into TeamSpeak. This is me walking to my computer. I sit down. I'm the fucking best. The rest of you suck. I'm the fucking best. And that's the end of practice. Is that how it went? You guys think that's how it went?
I think the practices are longer than 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. So every round
I think
he
you
did
would be saying it in Danish as well.
that. Maybe.
You say it, Lucas. You reacted.
No.
But honestly, even if there are like any issues, maybe not like, oh, it was super toxic, whatever, but they thought maybe another guy could be like a similar or a better fit. Just looking at Regali's stats, he's going to get offers.
I mean, they've been
I
saying,
mean,
saying that he's already got like at least a lot of interest from
Name the
kind of like tier
places.
1 level teams.
Name the locations now.
I don't
EG.
actually know who it might have been, but like
EG?
NIP,
Okay,
NIP
fair enough.
was one of them
Actually, let's
probably
be
at this
honest.
point.
Some
EG.
NA teams have some problems with snipers,
Yes.
and not only EG,
Liquid.
and maybe a bit more.
What
Okay.
other innate complexity?
I mean,
no.
Chad, you forgot about EG Black, EG
Oh,
White,
sorry,
EG Green,
sorry,
Orange,
sorry.
and Purple.
Yo, the Power Rangers, man. I didn't realize they were out to play today. I completely forgot about that.
There's
Fucking
EG
hell.
Gold as well, but they're in the women's
No,
league.
but like,
So
from
Actually,
what we know,
wait. Did you see the EG Black? Or let me check how they called.
Are they even still called that? What?
there is EG Black. Yeah.
I don't even check in anymore. I was talking to DJ.
No,
today.
check it.
I'm looking.
It-
Rush,
it's-
Stanislaw Jr.,
it's
Walco,
GY.
George.
Yes, it's so fucking sick. Don't you think so? I mean, just look at nicknames.
I
They,
mean, if
they
you
could be
looked at them
potentials. They could be really strong
Okay.
team.
Okay.
this
Are
is
you-
Junior with Rush and Stanislaw, or what's the team? Actually?
Yes.
And George Snorts, who's now just George, no longer
Yeah.
snorting.
Who is like an up
No,
and
but-
coming potential player.
But there were even reports that NIP looked at Regali, but that didn't work out for some reason.
Feels
They
like
went
that
with
ship
Hat-Trick.
sailed now, hasn't it?
I mean, we
Huh?
also
No, at
who
that time,
knows?
I mean, when they were looking into Hat-Trick and all these like other options, Regali was also in that
also
mix.
said he would like the interview that came out today on Play that he had an interview with NIP. So obviously they are really testing out the waters.
Yeah, they were
But
casting
Regali,
the what that wide.
the waters.
testing out the waters or casting a net. But EG also makes sense because of the coach who used to be on Copenhagen Flames. So I feel like that's like and knows the Danish market. So that would make it would just make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone in Denmark is, afraid of Regali finding a new team because, like, he's good. That's the best word I can come up with. But
Breaking news:
Flames-
Regali is good.
It's
All
good.
right.
But Flames, they change in Farlig and they lose to Astralis talent.
Yes, that's true. But Farlig top frag like 1.25 rating both games that they played so far, even though they lost.
Bro, there's a lot of pressure on Zello. I said this last time when I saw that 4C got replaced by Oscar. And he's been kind of like another one of those tier 2 uppers that have been posting really good numbers and is kind of like that type of a player
True,
that would fit
true.
into Sprout. And now it's Regali as well. So there's like Sprout is kind of like the only international team missing kind of like a really solid upper.
Ooh, they'd have to have real issues with the Zello already if they were going to make a
that's what
move that
but-
quick,
but-
huh?
But at this point, like if he doesn't put up numbers that an upper should, like in a few tournaments down the line, they're definitely going to start considering, okay, this was not the change that is working out, Like Sprout have been very aggressive in terms
But didn't
of
we
their...
say the major would seem most likely, considering they just added Azo right to in-game lead for Sprout?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, sure, like
the major is just around the
probably going to
corner.
be after the major or like at some point
the
like at that.
RMR if they don't go through.
it's
right?
20,
yeah.
22 or 3 days until the fucking RMR. It's so close. I was looking at my calendar today. I was looking at like end of Pro League, week off, RMRs, Blast is on, then it's the fucking wait, it's the Blast before the RMRs, right? And then it's Rio, and then it's the major. It's gonna be here so quick. Like we're gonna blink and we'll be in Paris. It's gonna be crazy. I've kind of derailed where we're going with this. Can we stop talking about Regali now?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
should
there's not
now
that much to talk
start
about, to be
talking
honest,
about EG for at least 25 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into EPL Group C. Without a doubt, the worst group in terms of the level of Counter-Strike that I witnessed played. In terms of the closeness of the teams that weren't FaZe and Vitality, we got some competitive matches. We had some crazy comebacks. We'll start with Vitality because I feel like even though they did qualify in first place for the group, this is the one that probably has the least to say. But we'll see how this goes. So Jack stood in. He did a great job for the team. He was the second highest rated player for them. They had that crazy comeback against FaZe on Anubis.
I saw it. It was pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, 14-1 first half and turn it around, pick it up in overtime. So that was a wild affair. And then they got it done 2-0, taking, it was Nuke they took away from FaZe as well. So that was a pretty big victory there. But as we know, Dupree is just on leave. He's just had a baby and will be coming back for the playoffs. So how do we read this result for Vitality and what the fuck do we do with it? Any takers on this one? Like, what do you do with it? They won the group, they beat FaZe, but Dupree's coming back, and what did we say?
I think it's like almost not like a write-off, but like I don't really take much away from it. Like they didn't really play great teams aside from the FaZe result, which the FaZe result, very great, amazing. But also, it can happen. It wasn't a high-stakes game. It was a game just for seeding, which...
Yeah, but FaZe would have been feeling like shit, bro, after losing a 14-1.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure. But
their mental's fucking cooked.
Putting in a stand-in is great, like alleviates some of the pressure, makes you less predictable. For one game, you can pull off some stuff. It's like, yeah, it's great. But again, it doesn't really give me, doesn't really change much. Like I need to see them in playoffs and back with Dupree to like make
if they can play like they did with JACKZ with Dupree, that's what we're looking for here.
I think it's just not,
Sorry, what do you want to say, STYKO?
No, I mean, it's just I just found it really wholesome, like the way Apex was talking about JACKZ and how like he believes that he just wasn't used properly in his previous team, which makes perfect sense. If you look at like how JACKZ was playing in G2, he was like put into anchor roles and things like that, like at the end of that journey, because like there was just no space for him to do what he's best at, And so Apex was just using him exactly as Prof was saying, like literally, and like the kind of a pure entry, not what we would call an entry these days, which is like people like Ikindar, Nico, and like space creators, things like that. So he was really used as like the execute entry, and like it really fit him. Like I don't know if you saw that clip. I think it was against FaZe on Nuke, like where Apex was just like looking at JACKZ's screen, and like JACKZ was just like killing blind people, and Apex was just like smiling his ass off because he was just working so well. So I don't know. It was just cool to see that he found a way to activate him in this way, and that it worked out, and that we could still see that JACKZ still has it in him, because the that heat period was really not working out very well for him. Like he was just not finding a good level. So I mean, this is still like there's still some credence to like giving JACKZ a shot. Probably not in like a tier one team, like an elite level team, but definitely like somewhere around there.
Okay. Nafany, what do you make of this situation, mate?
First of all, I really like to see JACKZ again at tier 1 stand, because I still remember how we figure out with interz that we could use Spotify at ESL tournaments.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we just found a playlist which was called JACKZ Latino Flex, and we was listening to World Tournament. It was pretty nice. So I really like to see JACKZ again.
Because he's got good taste in music. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the main thing. And the second thing, not so big one, but still, it's really nice to see how JACKZ is playing. He have really good vibe. I mean, if you watching how he playing in real life. He's really funny guy, and yeah, I believe that he will found some place in tier 1 or tier 2 teams in the future.
Man, am I the only one in like every time I hear this, it's like, can we just like stop talking about JACKZ that way? Because it's literally all everybody talks about all the time. Like, oh, he's such like brings the vibes, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that was
We-
kind of like derogatory, almost like that he doesn't like bring like so much on
Anything
the
else,
server,
yeah.
but it's just about like the emotional side and all that stuff. You know, I know that that's not what necessarily people are saying all the time. I know that there's more to that, but it's like it's brought up every single time that people talk about Jax.
But this
It's
is
like,
this is the
he's so
thing.
good.
We spoke about this on the couch, right? Like genuinely at this point while we were doing the broadcast,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like we spoke about this. We were like, someone was like, "Oh, do you think that's like a compliment?" I think with like just how much of a positive person Jack seems to be all the time. Yeah, it is. But do you want that to be the best thing that you're known for? No, probably not. You want to be known for like having sick aim or something a bit more Counter-Strike related. But he is a lovely guy.
He has amazing aim as well. Like at
That's
times,
true.
like you can see he's insanely crisp. Like his first bullet accuracy can be fucking amazing.
Well, I guess it's hard to read into this with Vitality, right? That's where we're going to put a pin in this. But what do we say for FaZe here? They got the job done, right? They went up against a team that had lower pressure, but they still lost a 14-1 lead on Anubis. Regardless of what you think about the map being C2 or T-sided, that's going to fucking sting, especially with the amount of like mid rounds that were being lost from both teams on their CT sides. Like, do we think this is just another like knife jabbed into FaZe here, turning and like fucking up the mental a bit more, boys? Like, how do we feel about this for FaZe? Do we think this is an issue?
I don't think so. I think
No?
it's just shit happens, and that's it.
Okay, I like that.
FaZe still, it's a strong team with cool players, and that's it. This loss, it's just shit happens.
Dude,
Just they will forget about it and play forward. And
Well,
that's
let me ask you this, Nafany. They got 3 more chances to win the Intel Grand Slam. Do you think they do it?
Not if you could have something to say about that, right?
Let's say if we will not win it, it will be cool if Korean will have a Grand Slam, but better if we will win it.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to be in Rio. G2 aren't, but you're going to be in Rio.
And you're in Pro League, so you could deny or win the next 2, and it would make their life a lot harder.
I mean, I just like all personalities in FaZe. I mean, like everyone have a really cool story of their like professional gaming, let's say. Even with Proki, as I recognized, like 1 year ago, I played with some mix with him. We was playing like some Misa Quals in one team, and it's pretty nice to understand it.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Let's jump into talking about NIP, shall we? This might be a fun one for everybody.
I don't even know what the fuck to say. To be like, I don't.
Well, we learned some stuff about NIP. Just to be clear, not just about how they play, but we learned that config is there on a you guys use long term.
We literally have said this from the start.
Multi-year is what we were.
No one reads Striker. That's
nobody
why
reads.
No.
No
That's not
reads.
true.
No
Long
one
term.
reads.
What does long term mean? Long term is it's like as long as a piece of string. Long term, it was the assumption of most people that it would have been up to the major, right? See what happened. Who knows what happens?
No.
Like
That's
actual
what we were saying,
contract.
like literally at that time, that he was signed, like I was literally making that point that this is like hampus is not expected to be back like in whatever, like any sort of foreseeable future.
Use a time frame. Foreseeable future, indefinitely. Those words don't actually mean anything, right? Just to be clear, that's not a time frame.
But either way, like it was
foreseeable
made
future
very
indefinitely,
clear
just not time frames. Just to be clear.
Either
They're
way,
not
it was
actual
made very
time
clear
frames.
that he was meant to be there. Like, but he is just their player now. He's not meant to be like only just until Hampus returns. It's just like he's
Still not an
there.
actual time frame.
I'm just saying long-term contract means more than a year.
It means at least a year, I would say.
At least a year.
contract.
Okay, so now we're defining terminology.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Was
but
this
like long-term,
defined
half a year is
in
not
the
a
article?
long-term contract. Half a year is a stand-in temporary thing.
It was in the article, but
It says
this is
long term.
This is just the argumentation for Striker to use like more articles. We needed to make an additional article explaining after the signing config will stay for multi-year.
Well, the
committed
foreseeable
to
future for me when config came in and Hampus went out was the major. I assume, yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're saying about config. You're thinking that NIP is NIP lose because of config or what?
No. We're discussing right now that
We're just talking about terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that. I just want to say that NIP, if we will look what they did before, especially with their academy roster, they making really strange decisions sometimes.
Yes.
And even with config, I don't really know how it works, long term or not long term decisions, but still, it's pretty strange for me that the player in tournament decides to leave,
During a
and then
tournament, yeah,
they
right.
sign other players. It's pretty
Yeah.
strange for me, and I want to say that the whole decisions of an AP, it's pretty strange all time. Especially, let's say it's don't this case not really similar with device, or I'm wrong?
Well, in terms of, so I guess it depends on how you frame it, right? So we have a rough idea with the device situation of why he went and where, right? With the hampus situation, we don't know, but both things remain true in the sense that NIP have a stance that what they're doing is supporting their players who need a break for mental health, right? Like that's the perspective I get from the NIP side. Now, whatever people speculate is going on is only speculation, right? And unless we hear from the horse's mouth,
Yeah.
then
I
we
mean,
don't really know.
as far as we can tell, like it was actually Hampus's decision to go or to take that break. You know, it wasn't NIP's to just say, okay, he's out for like during a tournament. You know, that as you say, that doesn't make any sense for that to be their decision to just like suddenly say during it. Like there would have to be something really fucked up for you to say, okay, you're just out for this for the rest of the tournament. Like that's just that doesn't seem reasonable to me even.
I feel like the roster has, like, because of the changes that you're talking about, nafany, and the weird decisions, I feel that they found themselves down a path where they can't go back anymore, right? They can't just like
Yeah,
make a
that's
couple of
true.
changes. They're too far from where they were. So they
True,
need to
true.
they need to find a brand new identity. It's a brand new team now, and it will be a whole different team before they're good again. Because watching them
Yeah.
play, they don't look like a Counter-Strike team.
What do they
didn't.
look like? Like
Why?
There's
models?
like
or-
clashes all over the place. It feels like I don't know if they know even like what's the best roles for everybody.
It was really hard to watch them play. Like it
I mean,
wasn't.
they moved Rez again. Now Rez is like a lurker now.
Again,
Well, they had
I
to do something like
I
that.
can't say about like other team, but is it strange or not that Brolin was saying at Fnatic that he don't really want to play in international team, he want to play in Swedish team, and now he's playing in international again. It's,
Yeah, he's not doing so hot either. Like that's my problem. Like Brolin was supposed to be this like the savior of an IP, like the best Swedish player and all that stuff. He hasn't been very good. Rez hasn't been super good either.
I mean, when they was Swedish team, everything was fine, but they could just sign some Swedish helper and that's it.
Well, that was the problem. They didn't have a Swedish
There was
helper
no
that
Swedish
was
helper,
good.
yeah.
I don't really know, but isn't Joel a sniper?
Who?
Yeah, Joel
Joel.
is.
Oh,
I feel like he's a guy that needs to like
There's some
prove himself.
There's some personality stuff there, no? I think
Joel's
in a
got a
team.
bit of history apparently.
And I
around
also
him.
feel like NIP don't want to like would prefer. I think also the regali versus head trick signing. I feel like that's kind of a indication that NIP really want to sign like players that are more safer, coachable options. And I'm not saying like regali is toxic or anything, but he just seems like a more outspoken person, even from his first interviews when he didn't get picked up in Astralis talent and stuff like that. He seems to have a bit of a personality, and they're just going for safe options. And Joel is definitely on the side of, you know, he's not someone you want to just throw in a tier 1 team. I don't think so.
But you look at this roster, right? You look at the roster of NIP, and you take each and every player in isolation, and you know how good. Well, other than head trick, because we have.
I mean, but any shuffle, it's a risk, and you decide to make an international team instead of trying to some helper who don't really need a lot of like big salary or something. It's strange for me, no? I mean, it's easier to try someone experienced at Alper and just imagine if he will be good in this lineup, so everything's fine. Even if we talk about Piff or not Piff, I forgot his nickname actually. The Love, the guy who was
FooXi.
Yeah,
FooXi. Yeah, thank you. Brain luck, sorry. But still, if we talk about him, he wasn't bad.
True.
No, yeah.
And they decide to go international. It's a huge risk, in my opinion. It's like go to casino. It's a better way to make some money.
Yeah, put it all on red or black. See how it goes.
Don't tell that to Joel. I don't know. Maybe maybe not. I don't know.
I think that NIP though, like for these last couple of years, and this is even since they were good last, right? When were NIP good last? Would we go back and say?
I mean, like a year ago, they actually weren't that bad.
When
Actually,
Device was
yes,
playing,
they wasn't bad
Like
when they was Swedish lineup.
Yeah.
So the team with device?
Even with
I mean,
device.
even after that,
Yes,
they still
yes,
were
true.
pretty
They were still
consistent. Like,
competitive, right?
They were constantly going deep. Like,
But they
at
weren't
least,
winning
like, top eight.
trophies, right?
No.
They weren't. So this is kind of how I look at it. They've been plugging.
someone just wrote 2014.
They've been plugging.
And that was not even a good year for NIP, by the way. That was a shit year if you disregard the major win.
They've been plugging holes in this boat now for a couple years, and it's just water's still coming in. And
it's
like
more plugs than boats now.
yeah, it is a plug, one giant plug on water right now. Like, and that's the thing. I
It's a
don't
big
see how they
corkscrew.
get out of this. I don't expect this to turn around anytime soon, right? I don't expect it just like, okay, yeah, we take 3 months, we come back, we look good. It just doesn't look like it's gonna work.
I mean, I'm not saying that NIP have bad lineup right now because in
The
my
players
opinion,
are good.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I want to say. But it's more. They looks more not like NIP, more like OG or something.
Yeah,
Or-
maybe
kind of
that's
true.
But that could be with the identity shift, right? Like it looked like if the players are hitting shots and they're playing well, then they can make games competitive or win. But if they're not, it doesn't look like there's a system. It doesn't look like they're on the same page. It doesn't look like that. It's just. It was hard to watch.
Again, I can't say that here is any bad player because if you look at an AP config, it's a good player. He's really aggressive. He could make some frags. Rez, in my opinion, one of the best riflers. And I don't really know why you moving him at all because if you have a player like Rez, you must like place him whatever he wants and do a lot of for him because he could win game for you. I mean, look at his stats when he was at the Swedish lineup. He was pretty well fragging, and why you moving him at all?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just because they're constantly trying to fix all the problems that keep coming up. They've chopped and changed so many things. I just don't. I don't think.
Can I do a prediction? Actually,
Okay, do a prediction.
Rez, the next player to take a break on NIP.
Bloody hell!
You can see it, right? Now that I say it, you can see it happening.
You mean take
They-
a break or be forced to take a break?
I don't know. He's just gonna be away from the team. It's just they're gonna kind of figure out things, and it's gonna be like, I'm fucking sick of these like last 5 years playing with 78 different players. I need a break, and we are gonna be. That's
Again,
reasonable, actually. And then they're
more,
gonna be
but
fucking-
better to say Rez like do whatever you want, do whatever you want lineup and just play the game. Because if just imagine Rez is leaving, who will fill him?
I think
It's pretty hard. I mean, it's
Donk. Obviously.
actually Donk is pretty well if we talk about that, but still.
I mean, they already have kind of like an. I mean, isn't Dunk like an entry?
Again, I don't think that it's good idea to let Rez to leave. Better to do whatever he wants, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Because if again, let me see their lineup. They have like if we talk about star players, they have only Rez. Brown is a good player, but he's not a star player, and that's it. Hattrick is pretty young, and he can't like win game for you. He is not Manesi yet.
No, he doesn't. It looks like he misses a couple sitters as well, which is probably just a development thing. But we'll have to wait and see with that. But yeah, I think NIP are just in a lot of trouble for the foreseeable future. Striker, for the foreseeable future, I see a long-term problem for NIP. Yeah.
So for the next year, you're saying?
Well, look, if we're putting mate.
Let's talk about the next team. What's the next team?
The next team is the Brazilians, right? So Pain made it through, and so did 0-0 Nation. As I mentioned, the Counter-Strike wasn't the hottest. 0-0 Nation got through over Rooster, Grayhound, and then NIP. That was the last chance bracket run that they went on. They have next. He's put the 9 in his name. He's doing a bit of Zipex cosplay. They were the 4th team to qualify from the group. They were very execute heavy and like double pumpy and lots of fakes and stuff. I don't think they were fantastic mid-round.
I mean, they were just about to get out in 8th place, man. Like they were so
should have lost
close
to
to being on
Rooster.
it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, should have definitely lost to Rooster. I think Payne played good CS though. Watching Payne, I could speak somewhat highly of Payne. I think Payne have a good base. It's good to see Big Uzera in-game leading and looking comfortable in it, picking up from PKO. I think Skulls and Zevi are showing some of their individual talent. They have a good idea of how they want to approach the game. So I like watching Payne play. OG, I think that's probably about what we expected. I don't know if anyone had any high expectations for OG.
Yeah, I mean, OG with Nico, I don't really see them beating any good teams, honestly.
Someone in chat just said, this is Lord Vin1, said next will remain until RMR Cold Zero said today, which is interesting.
Until
I mean, Taco's
RMR?
out. Yeah, well,
I guess with the RMR, I guess.
Well, so I guess, yeah, that's what I'm reading that as, because they were going to go back to Portugal, have a week worth of practice, and then come back and play the playoffs. That was what I was talking to Cold about the other day, I think. Does anyone have anything they want to say about any of these teams, or should I just...
Really.
Okay, all right.
I think OG just doesn't look like a real team at the moment. It's just so all over the place. Like the way that they lost to Vitality as well, like they just got destroyed. And even later on, I mean, they lost to an NIP who has looked this off. So I think there's, I don't know, the OG definitely seem lost at the moment. And it's understandable, they just had to replace an IGL with not an IGL.
A guy who was
which is
not playing.
It's pretty tough to play without an
Well, that's what I'm saying.
IGL.
Like I understand, I 100% understand why. I'm just saying that's like, it really shows in their play as well. They're like, they just don't look like they have a caller.
Yeah, I think that's reflect. I think they're in trouble as well. Nafany, what do you make at OG? Do you think they're fucked?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they have pretty cool players. If we will look again at their lineup,
yeah,
they have Dexter, who obviously is, let's say, star player. Flames, who pretty well as well. I'm not sure about like Neofrag or FiCo because they're well, but they still have lack of experience. And Next was pretty well for this lineup because he was like like a father for them.
Sure,
because
he's the most experienced.
He was like teaching a lot them, but yeah, it's tough to play without an Angel.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump in to talk about the Aussies here just quickly. It says Sponge crying over Greyhound and Rooster. Why would I be crying?
I think Sponge is pretty happy that Rooster actually did have some moments.
But it could have been so much better.
It could have been, but this is the thing. Now, there's a comment here in the thread about the podcast for this evening, and someone said, FaZe 1 major, simple 0 major, who's a fan of Get Rice. He said, Sponge crying over Greyhound and Rooster. Nice one, Professor, is his reply. Then this gentleman, XCXC, with the flag Colombia, says, pretty sure Sponge blames the bracket system for Greyhound not going to the playoffs. And I replied with, where the fuck do you get this dumb cunt assumption from? And I spelled assumption incorrectly. Now, I want to make this clear. I actually think that they played when they beat NIP. That was Greyhound's current, with how everything is, that's Greyhound's current 100%. When they beat NIP. That was them playing at max capacity when they won that series. And maybe even that was them playing near max capacity when they beat 0-0 Nation. Because then for them to go down into the bracket to not be able to beat 0-0 Nation again, I actually like the fact that they had to be there and play 2 games on that final day to potentially qualify, because it would have proven, if they could have done it again, that they deserved those wins that they got earlier in the tournament. But because they couldn't back it up, that to me, I know that it sucks that some team has to play 2 games. I don't like the format. You don't have to, I'm not here to argue that.
Yeah.
I'm here just to look at that from the Greyhound perspective and what it would have meant to me as a believer if they were able to convert on that day with that schedule in those circumstances. It would have meant a whole lot more than the initial wins, because the initial wins mean nothing because you didn't qualify in the first place. Right? And people go, oh, but they already beat them, and why they have to play? I don't give a fuck. You're an underdog team. Like, you got to prove your wealth somewhere, right? You're worth somewhere, and it has to happen at some point. This is just kind of the way the cookie fucking crumbles. Like, Nafany knows this from when he played online. Like, you're going to play a shitload of games. Some of them are going to mean a lot. Some of them are going to prove that you're good enough, right? And I feel like it would have been nice to see them back it up and get some victories, because there's stuff that they do well and there's stuff that they do. I think they're on the right track with playing the slow style. I think if they build out a strong base, then they can work on the rest of their decision making. But other than that, I guess it's been
You were
better than
saying-
previous events, right?
You were saying that that's new, right? Like I'm not like 100% honesty here. Like Greyhound are a team that I've just stopped caring about because they
Sometimes
haven't
it's
done
really
anything for a long
execute
time.
heavy.
You know? Yeah.
Sometimes it's really execute heavy. Sometimes it's a bit quicker and it feels like they're YOLOing. This time it felt like they were taking their time a lot more and trying to play out slower defaults and play as a team in the mid round and stuff. But hey, I could be completely wrong. But that's I think it was more positive than it has been.
Okay.
But I don't give a fuck about the format, like not
No, I mean,
being in their favor.
like if it was the original format, like it's just 3 teams going through, they lost to Pain in that qualifying game, you know. So like it's they already had like an extra chance that they like wouldn't have otherwise. So like arguing that is pointless.
Rooster was fun to watch. I thought ASAP had some moments. I thought he looked all right. 80K had a couple of big clutches. No, they looked okay. They for what to expect of them, for kids paying for their own boot camp overseas to then go play at Pro League, props.
Yep.
Like mad respect for that.
I mean, it's just like it's nice to see one like another name than Greyhound, you know, make it to these from Australia to these tournaments, because as I said, you know, we haven't seen Greyhound do a lot, and so to see other teams have that opportunity of every now and again, you know, because it seems like Greyhound will just beat everybody in Australia, but then not really do anything on the international scene. So maybe they're just too acclimatized to what's going on over there.
That Chelios interview was very interesting, wasn't it?
Oh,
The one
he's a
from us, you
very-
mean?
No, he did one as well, right?
The one on HLTV.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It was. But
Yeah.
I saw you trying to interview him. It was something.
I got
was
more
some-
in the pre-interview than I did in the actual interview.
Yeah, it was just like one-liners.
Yeah.
Just
Well, hey, that's fine. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into Group D. I don't want to keep nafany for too much
Let's
longer
go.
here, mate, but we want to use his big Counter-Strike brain to help us predict Group D of the EPL Pro League. That's EPL, EPL.
I think
Bang.
ESL, you'll have a call from ESL waiting after you exit
Yeah,
this
right.
podcast.
Yeah, make sure you call it
They
ESL
already
Pro
don't
League.
like the fact that we abbreviate it to EPL, I think.
There's some things which I just find so strange. It's like, well, you're obviously watching ESL Pro League. How many other Pro Leagues are there in Counter-Strike? None? I'm gonna go with none.
Zywoo.
Yeah.
The best in the game.
I can't.
It's-
Honestly,
That's a
I
lot
can't
as
think
well.
about it.
Yeah,
I
tell me
hated
about
it the first time I heard it. I think it's weird. Why are we mentioning Zywoo on every cut?
I don't
Why
know.
is this? He's not even. I mean, he maybe is today the best in the game, but he hasn't been for the last 2 years.
They
so
need
it's
to.
just-
I've been told that they're looking to fix that. The fact they haven't yet is a little bit disenchanting. Okay, Lucas, bring up the link I just put in chat. Let's fucking look at Group D, shall we? This is one of the better groups out of all the groups. It's definitely better than Group C.
There's
Yes.
a lot of like debatable results here. I have no idea who the 4 teams are going to be who go through.
So this is
Easy,
the bracket.
easy.
All
I
right.
told you it's easy to predict this group.
Let me read the bracket out for everybody, nafany, and then you can help us predict here. So we got
Mhm.
Liquid Rare Atom, 80K Ents. That's the top half of the bracket. Bottom half is Spirit, Astralis, FaZe, Na'Vi. Who's winning the openers, nafany? Help us out here. And if you
Okay,
can, give us
it's
some
easy one.
whys.
It's easy one.
Okay.
Liquid will win Rare Atom, obviously, and will win 80K. Then Spirit will lose to Astralis, and I will win Force.
Okay.
Then I guess Liquid will beat Ents
Okay.
and go to upper final. Astralis will beat Navi and go to upper final.
That's a spicy one.
Okay. Why you got so much Astralis faith here, nafany?
Because and
Yeah?
that's it.
Because. All right. So should I pick Device in my fantasy team?
Yes. It
Okay.
will be one of the best player in this group.
Well, lucky I already have him, so that's great news.
Yeah.
I've just been confirmed by
easy one,
nafany
actually.
here. Huge. Okay.
Also, you must pick Zipnix. Yes. Remember my words after this group, okay?
I need come on now, nafany, mate.
This
I
is
told
all
you,
part
just
of an
believe.
elaborate
Just
scheme.
believe, okay?
I can't just believe on the
Are we putting a
Zipex
lot of
one.
faith in practice
Sometimes-
results?
You don't have any choices. Just believe, okay?
I don't know if I can. Any of you two want to put
This guy
E
Zipex
can't
in
even
your-
make sh1ro believe in his calls, and he's going to make me pick Zipnix. I can't.
Dunno,
I can't.
look,
I
I've-
can't.
I've
You're
got
just hater. You just hater. That's it. Just stop it.
he hasn't been, you know. Okay, all right.
How-
I
how
told
big-
you
how
he
much
will
is
be
he?
one of the best in this tournament. I just knew it.
Let me see his price. What's his price?
I'll have a think about it. I'll have a think.
He must be pretty cheap, so it will-
188. This is Zipex, right? You were talking about.
Affordable.
Very affordable.
Are Na'Vi really in that bad shape that you think they'll lose to Astralis?
We didn't play versus Navi at Prax, but
Oh.
I think Navi will be in shaky form.
Really?
Yeah, it's just random for me,
Okay.
but I think so. It's hard to predict now. It as always, actually, it's hard to predict Navi form in our days.
Why do you think that is?
Just feeling. In this case, just feeling.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not too confident about Navi either. I mean, I think
it never
they're gonna
certain,
go
but they always
through.
get the job done.
Would be crazy that they don't go through, but in terms of like, can they lose to Astralis? I think they can, or a good playing spirit.
Okay, maybe I'm just overhyped Astralis right now, but I'm pretty sure that Astralis can surprise Navi.
Okay.
Just look at this group. Who can beat Navi? Obviously.
I mean, Liquid obviously can.
Liquid,
sure.
yeah.
That's what I want to say. Liquid or Astralis, only two teams.
Okay, so you're not hot. You're not high on Spirit.
Actually, I like how Spirit played before, but at Katowice they didn't surprise me.
No, they didn't look themselves, did they? Patsy definitely not finding that normal impact you'd be getting.
I have some thoughts on this about this team, but not for podcast, let's say.
Okay, fair enough.
So I just believe in Astralis, let's say, that they will be really good at this group.
But that still in itself is a surprise, right? Because I imagine for most people, they would have like Na'Vi, Liquid as like the top dogs. Then you'd have a conversation about Astralis, Spirit, ENTz, I suppose, and you could even consider tacking fours in there because I hear some hype around fours at the moment. This new kid they got, Result, he seems all right. He looks mechanically pretty sound. I don't know too much about him other than that.
He just wants to earn money to buy a new PC. That's
right.
It.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy story, isn't it?
It's a classic one, actually. Because when we won with sh1ro some tournament, it was like some tournament from some website. No, not even HLTV. It was like tournament for knives. It was tournament for Kerambit Tiger Tooth, for 5 Kerambit Tiger Tooth for first place, and we won it. And we just he bought for himself a video card, and I bought for myself computer. I just my older brother, give me like 50 $500, I believe.
Yeah.
And I add like $200, and we just buy new PC, and that's it. It's first money in CSGO.
There you go.
Nice.
It's like I just want to say that it's classic story for every CS player. First money going to PC always for everyone.
Has anyone here? And I don't think you'll have seen this movie, nafany. So I'm not but the other two. Have you guys seen Wayne's World?
Well, a long time ago.
So can you repeat? Sorry.
The movie's called Wayne's World. WAYNES World. WORLD.
Wait.
Everyone's googling Wayne's World.
No,
I
didn't see it.
Okay, well, there's a character in Wayne's World called Garth. And he looks a little bit like Result with the hair. He's like, which is really cool because Wayne's World is a great movie.
Okay, wait.
With Mike Myers.
Now you must check HLTV.org again and just Google result, Latic, and Deco. And
I've seen the way their hair is. I
just forgot someone else. It's just new generation of CS players. We call them the K name Dead Inside.
Dead Inside. These players are all named
you must heard about that. You must heard about them. It's Tokyo Ghoul anime. If you didn't see it yet, you must see because it's about new generation of CS players.
Wait, we talking the new season of Tokyo Ghoul? We talking season 1? We talking season 2? What are we talking here, man?
About every season, actually.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
It's just about them. It's 1000 -7 classic clan tech in FaZe. So
Bloody hell, we're going deep into the fucking
insider jokes
Jeez.
and
I told
Yeah.
you, if you will just try to find game without again K-name that inside Google Premium League, if you will find this game without him, you're just winner of the life.
Okay, I'll make
Because
sure.
every fucking game you will have someone who will be like that for sure.
I have had to mute an awful lot of my FaZe teammates recently, which is a little bit
actually,
unfortunate.
if they have pre-mute, most likely they're dead inside.
Okay, all right. I feel like we've got a little bit of a look inside here this evening.
A related question from Twitter by Heku. She asked, "What's your favorite anime?" I don't know if we asked this before, but it needs to be asked.
It's a hard one. I will say Charlotte, but it's a hard one because I don't have like the favorite.
What about some recent one that you liked?
Last time I don't have a lot of time to watch anime. I just read manga. Okay. Actually, I recommend not watch the Chainsaw Man. Just read manga firstly, and then you can watch.
I can't read, nafany. Come on now, mate.
No,
I
told you. I read it like even before announce of anime. I read it, and it's way better than anime. But we must notice that anime is really good. And now imagine how good is manga.
Okay.
All right. That's a good recommendation.
And also, I recommend to read Good Night Pun Pun, but it's a bit crazy one.
Okay. Good Night Pun Pun.
Yes.
Like PON or PUN?
I don't really know how it's in English, so.
Okay. Yes, Prof.
Can I throw in more questions? I read the question.
Yeah. I changed it across already. Okay. We're already in the questions.
So Oliver asks, this is a related question, I feel like. Story about your tattoos, specifically the forearm tattoo.
This one?
Yeah.
So it's just Miyazaki, different animes. And I just like every anime from here. So that's it. And I really like how it's on my hand. Yeah.
Did you get someone to draw it, or like how did it? How did the idea, like the visual, come from?
I just go to Tattoo Master and say that I want these characters together. He give me like few variants how it could be, and I choose one, and that's it. Not something like with a big idea, let's say.
Nice.
Okay. We got any more questions, Prof?
There's a question. There are more questions. There is a question from Pros Don't Fake on Twitter. He says, "Can you rate Cloud9 players' utility usage? Who's the best? Who misses the most smokes? Give us some info."
Utility. We're talking about like all utility,
smokes,
like nades.
Flashes. Yeah.
Okay, let's say if we talk about nades, it will be Hobbit. He one of the best utility usage player in the world, I will say. Even if he don't have a lot of damage, it's because maybe he don't have a nade. But overall, he is really cool with nade. But he don't really know a lot of smokes and flashes. He know like few, which he uses mostly. So if we talk about like smokes, flashes, mollies and other stuff, first place is Exile for sure, easy one. He know everything, like really everything, but he could miss fast smoke window sometimes and default smoke window sometimes at Mirage. So it's but still he's the best one. Then probably will be, it's a hard one again, me or Booster, because Booster knew some interesting smokes, let's say. It's you can't use it like every time, but sometimes in some situations you could use it. So he knew, like we call it ситуативные.
Oh, yeah,
Situational.
Situational. Yeah.
Situational, yeah, that's it. So he knew a lot of smokes like this, and me, I know like a lot smokes at different maps, but sometimes I could miss a really important smoke, and everyone will blame me. So I'm like the medium guy, and then going sh1ro, he know like a lot of smokes, but when official starts, he could forgot it.
Okay.
And when you saying like, could you smoke it? You waiting like 5 seconds, and then he's saying, can someone else throw it, please? And it's a bit funny, yeah. But overall, I will say that everyone knows their nades pretty well overall.
Okay, nice. We got anything else there, Prof? What are we
There
looking
was
at?
one more question from
Actually,
Bottas.
sorry,
Yeah.
I will add one thing that I am not saying that it's true. Maybe I'm just watched these demos, but seems like same situation with Astralis, with old Astralis when they was winning everyone. Device was missing every smoke, like literally. They was fucked up like 1 million times with his smoke, but that's it. It's always happening with snipers.
Okay.
It's always was like that, and seems like it's continue.
Because they're the cool kids, so they can
They
be good at
focus on the
school.
open.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
There's a question. So recently, the big topic in the community is like the economy, saving. Are we saving too much? Blah blah. So Bottas on Twitter, I think, asks, do you think? What kind of changes to the economy would you make if you would make any?
I don't think that we need any changes. It's cool right now. I mean,
You like Counter-Strike as it is right now?
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I don't really like when it was A1 meta, because it was pretty easy to play on city side, let's say. And let's say some players make some frags which they don't really will made it with A4, and it was not really fair.
Okay.
And now it's pretty fair when you using A4.
All right. What do you think about all the Source 2 rumors?
Again, I don't expect something big, but it will be just cool if you will not stuck in the walls, and that's it. That's all what I want. Don't
Not
stuck
to
in the
get
walls.
stuck on the walls.
Yeah, because when you, for example, on overpass, jump in and check in sandwich,
Yeah.
you get stuck at the wall and sniper will kill you.
Okay.
So, for example,
Yeah.
it happens with me today. We played prac at overpass and it happens, and I was like, fair enough.
Okay. All right.
There's a
So-
question in chat, or if I'm
no,
allowed.
what do you got?
Am
What do
I
you got?
allowed to do anything here?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
I would hope so.
Almerio, I'm in Twitch chat says, I would like to ask, does his team party after big wins? And who is the best dancer on the team? I can see from my experience, I almost never see you out. I only saw sh1ro and Axel at the award show. They were having a good time. But other than that, I don't think I ever saw you at an after party.
Actually, I think best dancer on our team, it's Exile, first of all. It's a first part of question. And second part, as you said, we actually don't really go into the after parties. But it's not because we don't really want. We just usually tilted or don't really know about them. And when we know about them, it's too late. because if we will go, everyone is already drunk, so it don't have any sense.
Yeah. That is true.
Rocking up fashionably late or not at all? I guess not at all. All right. Nice. We got anything else, Prof Strike? Anything else you want to ask Nafany this evening?
I can run him by my fantasy team.
Okay. Well, he told you to pick Zipex. Did you pick Zipex?
No, I didn't pick Zipex.
Well, then he doesn't want to hear about your fantasy team, mate.
Mistake. You will remember my words.
I have Yakinda Nitro, then Electronic and Perfecto, and I have Device.
You will lose.
Because of
Okay.
which players specifically?
I will not say. It's a big advantage.
Well, he said good things. He did say good things about Liquid. So you've got two Liquid
Yeah,
players,
and
right? That's pretty
Device.
good. And you got
They have the
Device.
easier side as well.
He's just not believing in
no
Navi.
question to Liquid players. Here is a question to why
Navi
you not pick
players.
No, why you pick Zipnix?
Why not pick Zipnix?
Yes,
because I
that's
couldn't
what I
fit him. I was actually thinking about like trying to fit it in. I could actually put him instead of Perfecto.
Don't do anything. Just watch
Zipnix.
this group, and then you will see that I was right. And
Fair
that's
enough.
it.
See, what you should do right now, Striker, is you should pick him so that we can have a compilation of Nafany saying, you should pick him, right? And then
And
you
I
pick
would pick
him,
him.
and then we
So
can
it's
show the points
So
after.
it's fantasy tips with Nafany.
It's for content
like
as well.
yeah.
So give Dimitri something to do.
That's the thing. Like I have the choices between Perfecto and Zipex, right? Both kind of like similar roles, like similar guys, right? Because that's exactly almost
Don't
the
think
same.
that it's similar roles right now. As I know, Navi give Perfect a different role right now.
Oh yeah, that's true. They moved them like
So
to
you
garage
maybe
short
forgot
and
about
things like
that,
that,
but
right?
it's
Yeah.
different player right now. Aye.
Yeah, that's true. But he
Fuck,
has
you're
more
screwed,
active. He has
Striker,
more
mate.
active roles, so he has more
It
chance to
don't
be.
mean like it's not
involved.
works like this. It's not works like this.
Okay.
Less experience in this role, so he probably will be fucked up. So you never know.
Can
It's
you
true.
just
You-
last
you-
question for
You can
me?
just pick Zipnix and that's it. No mistakes, you know.
So if I had Yakindar Nitro electronic device and Zipex, you'd be happy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Everybody's actually asking this. All of the fantasy players, can you bring back interz, please? Because he was great.
It's good value for money, wasn't it?
For the value for money, always support role, so many role points. He was great. So yeah, that's just a question for you to think about. For
I can easily answer at this question actually, because if you will open the amazing website HLTV.org, you will see that some partner teams could make some shuffles and bring interest to their teams.
Okay.
So easy points again.
There you go.
It's possible.
There you go.
They just got to pick him up.
Doesn't have to be in
And
Cloud9.
they will
He
be
can
better as a
anywhere.
team again. Win-win situation.
We always love a good win-win situation around here. Gentlemen, we got anything else for Nafany this evening, or are we done and dusted?
Oh, had a great time. Just happy we had you on. Also, looking back to like your first show when you came on like 2 years ago now, how you're very shy and timid about your English. I was like, oh my god, how is this gonna work?
But actually, it was one of the best experience I ever had. I mean, I believe that my English became better.
Definitely.
And I'm working on it actually, because I believe in one wonderful day I will speak free, and maybe I will be analyst or commentator, or
Join
maybe
us.
or even maybe in-game leader for an international team or something. Who knows, right? So yeah, I mean, I like to be a guest of this show, so you can invite
Nice.
me whenever you want.
Nice.
I
Amazing.
hope. Yes, I knew, because sometimes shit happens and I can't visit you, unfortunately.
Yeah,
All right.
it was. We asked a few times, but we got you
Yeah.
finally now.
Yeah, and that's cool. It's cool. I like to be here.
Awesome. All right. Well, Nafany, thank you for joining us. I feel like you just said what you wanted to say, but is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to say something to the fans? Do you want to say anything to people at home? Anything like that?
Let me think. First of all, it's to our fans. No matter how we bad or how we good, support us, and we're really happy that even if we fucked up at Katowice, you supported us, and we did well at group stage at ESL Pro League. So I hope everything will be well as well. For everyone, not only fans, be healthy. In our days, it's very important. So, and be friendly. Don't hate anyone, even if they
Lose you money.
even if they stupid, let's say.
Was that directed at Maui Snake?
No. Maui Snake is fine. I mean, he could say whatever he wants. I told you. I mean, he's a good analytic. I don't really know how it's in English, but
Analyst. Yeah.
analyst. Yeah, thank you. He's good analyst. He just don't really like me, and that's it. And one more thing, if you would like to say that someone bad player or bad in-game leader, try to figure out some things, because I just remember one thing, and I don't remember what tournament it was, but and as far as Ogo, as far as I remember, it was Maui Snake. He was commenting this game as far as I remember, and he said that I bought AWP for myself. It was Dust 2, but it was Hobbit who misclicked and bought second AWP. And I was saying, it's okay, I will play. Don't worry, we will fuck. And Maui Snake said that why he did it? Why? He ruined this game. The fuck? Or something like that. So just be friendly. That's all what I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody sometimes has those moments where they just like see something. I had that moment like with the thing that I talked about with HooXi, and he kind of called me out on it. I'll take it on the chin, that's fine. But you'll just see something sometime, but you don't like look back through it. Maybe you misremember or something.
In our world, a lot of trauma already, so we don't need to make it more.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say to everyone, actually. Because a lot of shit happening around us. Let's make this world a bit more beauty.
Yeah. All right. That's a nice place to leave it for this evening. Good stuff, nafany. All right, boys. That has been another episode of HLTV Confirmed. I want to thank our sponsors, BitSkins, SteelSeries, and of course, N1Bet, gamble responsibly, and nafany for joining us on tonight's show and sitting here and chatting to us for 2.5 hours. It was fantastic. We learned a lot. We dug deep. We asked some questions, and we hope everybody enjoyed the show. We'll be back. Next week gets a bit tricky, doesn't it? We only have one day off between the end of the group and the start of the playoffs. So we'll have to fandangle something there. It'll most likely be Monday.
No, we don't.
I think it's
3
Wednesday.
days or something, no?
I think it's Wednesday again.
No, it's Tuesday. No, you're
pretty sure it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah. Can you guys make your apology as loud as your disrespect, please?
I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm off. So
we'll
I
make
guess
it
we
work.
have to do Monday then. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll make something happen. Again, thanks to nafany. Thanks to everyone tuning in, and good night.
See you.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
N1Bet, your bet, your game.
It's a good vibe, train, 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 train. It's a good vibe, train, 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 train. It's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Good vibe, train.